Did he bring it on himself?
How many times had you been arrested before?
A bunch. My anger gets the best of me.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Glenn Hazelton is suing his mother, Nancy Hazelton, for falsely accusing him of assault and theft.
Order. All rise. Now it's case number 375 on the calendar in the matter of Hazelton versus Hazelton.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Mr. Hazelton, the defendant is your mother, and it is your claim that she had you falsely arrested a little over a year ago for both stealing her property and for assaulting your sister, who tried to intervene and prevent you from taking her television. That's what the case is about. You spent, according to you, 6 days in jail. You finally bailed yourself out, and you want to be compensated for that. That's
That
what
is
the case
correct,
is
Your
about.
Honor.
Okay. Prior to being arrested last year, when you were arrested on your mother's complaint, how many times had you been arrested before?
A bunch.
How many? More than a dozen?
I could say yes.
And were those, at least some of those arrests, drug-related? Were they physically related? Were they assault cases?
Some. But what does that got to pertain to this case?
Everything pertains to this case. Was some of them involving theft?
No.
Was some of them involving trespass?
No.
So they were all involving assault. More than a dozen cases. What I'm gathering now is information. So of the more than a dozen arrests you had, none involved drugs, none involved alcohol, none involved theft, none involved trespass, all involved assault. Is that a yes or a no?
That's a no.
What else did they involve other than assault?
I'm just talking about this case, Your Honor.
I'm talking about who the
I'm
party...
going to talk about this case at hand. If you don't want to discuss this case, then we can just dismiss it.
Great. Then I'm dismissing it. Thank you very much.
All right,
We're
thank
done.
you. You have a good day.
Parties are excused.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Are you telling me that you were not high on some sort of drug?
No, I was not on no drugs, okay? I was arrested, hauled off to jail, ripped out of my bed in my underwear for a crime I did not commit. How would you react?
And later today,
What an outrageous bill. It is, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I was,
Insurance paid almost $6,000
yes.
for going down the toilet as a country.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
In a case recalled from earlier today, Glenn Hazelton says his mother, Nancy Hazelton, falsely accused him of assaulting his sister and stealing her TV.
I should recall case 375 in the matter of Hazelton versus Hazelton.
Thank
Parties
you.
are reminded you're still under oath. You're welcome, Judge.
Mr. Hazelton, Officer Byrd tells me that you have had second thoughts about answering the court's questions, and you're asking me to reconsider the dismissal of this case. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay. So then let's get back to where I was questioning you before. According to your answers previously, you've been arrested at least a dozen times, none involving drugs. Is that correct?
That is correct.
None involving alcohol.
That is correct.
None involving burglary.
That is correct.
None involving theft.
That is correct.
All involving assault.
That is correct. 3 times.
So of the more than dozen times you've been arrested, it is as a result of either temper or a mental illness, if it wasn't drug or alcohol related.
No, my anger gets the best of me.
Well, that's an
Issue.
for which you've been or not been in treatment.
Not.
Is it correct, Miss Hazelton, that your son never had either a drug or an alcohol problem?
Alcohol.
In October of 2015, Mr. Hazelton, how were you supporting yourself?
By working.
For whom?
Green Star Lawn Maintenance.
How long have you worked for them?
For 38 years off and on.
Are you working for them now?
Yes.
Full time?
Yes.
In the same location?
Yes.
Is that correct?
I think so.
Do you remember on what day you were arrested?
Yeah, I was arrested on May 6, 2015
Where?
in Henry County.
Is that where you live?
I lived, yes.
What time were you arrested?
After 12:20
In the morning?
in the morning, yeah.
And you were at home?
I was at home, right?
And you were arrested on the complaint of your mother and or your sister? Or just your mother?
I was arrested on my mother and sister's complaint stating that I walked in an unlocked door, used the restroom. Upon leaving the restroom, stole the TV out of my mom's room, hit my sister 3 times in the face, and left with the TV.
Okay. You're the sister.
No,
Where is the sister?
she's passed away.
Were you at home that day?
No,
So the sister that you allegedly assaulted is no longer here.
No.
Is that correct? Answer that you were not at home when this took place.
no.
Did you have a conversation with your daughter when you got home?
She was holding an ice.
Just a second. Did you have a conversation with
Yes.
her? At what time did you get home on, it would be the 5th
Right.
of May? What time did you get home?
Between probably 9:30 and 9:45, I was playing bingo.
And at that time, Miss Hazelton, who did you live with?
My daughter lived with me.
How old was she?
Let's see.
She was
Tammy.
52.
Shh.
Yeah, she was 50.
She was 50 then?
Yeah.
So when you came home, it was 9:30, 9:45. And tell me first what you saw.
I saw her holding an ice pack on her face, and I asked her what happened. And she said, Glenn came here to use the bathroom, so she let him in. And in the process of using the restroom, he came out with my 32-inch TV, and she went to stop him, and he hit her in the face. That's what she told me. And I was only in the house maybe 5 minutes before the police were knocking on the doors.
Had your daughter called the police?
Yes.
Okay, so she had called the police before you even got home.
Oh, yes.
Do you have the police report?
No, I don't have that.
Do you have the police? Just the police report.
It's right there.
You do know that these reports indicate that you were totally uncooperative, had to be placed in a hood, a spit hood, had to be put in an isolation area.
Excuse me,
Are
Your
you
Honor.
telling me that you were not high on some sort of drug or alcohol that night when they came to your home to arrest you?
Excuse me, Your Honor. Let me first say this.
I asked you a question, Mr. Hazelton. We had
no,
an
I was
agreement.
not high.
We
No, I
had-
was not high. No, I was not on no drugs, okay?
Okay.
My actions speak louder than words. I was arrested, hauled off to jail, ripped out of my bed in my underwear, and you're telling me for a crime I did not commit, how would you react? And the charges were dismissed, not by the judge, by the public defender, the state's attorney, because I didn't steal the TV that my mom said. And my mother sat there and said she's seen me in a while. She hasn't seen me in 7 years. And it's just, or it came out of her in the police report, she states that. And my sister said 2 different signs. She said she came home and I hit her 3 times. It's all a lie. And why don't they look in her question and call me and ask me, did I do this? They know where I live. You know? They're trying to give me 46 years for this TV. My life is a little more than 46 years, okay? Or acting out in jail or whatever. I didn't do it, and this is the reason I'm suing my mother. I'm out $2,500. I could have gone after her for penal stolen damages.
Your case is dismissed, Mr. Hazelton. You have no case against your mother. We're finished here.
As far as our excuse, you may step out.
It wasn't about the money.
He figured, well, if he got dismissed,
It was about to show the world that I didn't steal her TV.
he's going to go after my mom for the jail money.
Hope it gives them peace of mind.
I hope he gets help.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Adelby versus Grassi, step forward.
Lamea Adelby is suing her former neighbor, Patricia Grassi, for medical bills and lost wages after Patricia's cat bit her.
Miss Adelby, this incident happened over a year ago.
Yes.
The incident that you're complaining about. The incident that you're complaining about allegedly happened in the state of Connecticut, where you and the defendant were neighbors of sorts.
Yes.
And in December of last year, bit you. You had certain medical bills that you incurred as a result of that. You want her to be responsible. Before I get into that, I'd like to know when you relocated to California.
I relocated end of June. I'm a travel nurse, so I move every 3 to 4 months. So I was here June 26th.
I don't know what you mean you're a traveler.
I'm a travel nurse, So I work for an agency, and I go to different hospitals every 3 to 4 months, depending on the needs of the hospitals.
Okay. So you were in Connecticut from October to June.
No, I was in Connecticut from July to October.
July through
Yes.
October.
Then end of October, October 30th, I moved to New York City, and I was there
Just a minute. And you were in New York City until when?
till May, mid-May.
Now, New York City is much closer to Connecticut
Yes.
than is Los Angeles. So my first question for you would be, why did you choose to initiate this case when you moved to Los Angeles rather than for the time that you were in Connecticut and then close by in a state that touched the state where this happened, rather than waiting until you were thousands of...
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
We're talking about the $3,000 that she got as a bill from the emergency care that she went to before she knew that your cat was up to date on its rabies shots, because she has to protect herself.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Lamia Adelby is suing her former neighbor, Patricia Grassi, for medical bills and lost wages after Patricia's cat bit her.
Okay, why did you choose to initiate this case when you moved to Los Angeles rather than for the time that you were in Connecticut?
I didn't receive the bill till late April of 2016, and I was already planning to move to LA.
Well, you didn't move until May.
Yes.
You received bills in April from whom?
From Norwalk Hospital. It's my emergency room bill of $3,013.30 right here.
Are you telling me that you have no insurance?
I do, but after insurance, this is what the cost was.
After insurance, there was a copay of over $3,000?
Yes.
How much was the whole bill?
It was a lot more than that. This breaks it down.
Wow. And you were there just for the afternoon at Norwalk Hospital?
I went there at night
At
to
night.
go get my rabies shots.
Okay,
and then
but you
had
didn't
boost-
stay over in the hospital?
No.
What an outrageous bill.
Yes.
What an outrageous bill. It is, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I was so shocked.
$9,000. And your insurance paid almost $6,000.
Yes.
We're going down the toilet as a country. Okay, and it is your claim that this visit to Norwalk Hospital and the resulting bill that you have, which is $3,000, is a result of Miss Grassi's black cat biting you.
Yes. I have a
Okay.
picture of the bite.
Now, Miss Grassi, I understand from reading the complaint, this happened on October 15th?
Yes.
October 15th.
October
Thank you
10th.
for helping me. This happened on October 15th. You have a black cat, or you have two?
I have two black cats.
Now, on October 15th, I want you to tell me what happened.
It was October 10th, actually. And I was driving home from work. I was parking in my parking lot, and I noticed trying to follow me up to my apartment. I went upstairs and tried to open the two sets of doors, trying to go in real fast because he was trying to go in.
To your apartment?
Yes. He was trying to go in, and I didn't allow him to, and I was trying...
Tell me what you did.
I just tried to open the door real quick to avoid him and to go inside because there's two doors, and he was already there, and then he bit me on my left above my ankle right there.
Yeah, I see that.
And I screamed, and he ran the other way, and I just went inside as fast as I could.
Okay. And you called animal control, you called the police.
I originally went to urgent care, and I have a report from them.
Did you call animal control?
The urgent care did.
Urgent care.
Yeah. I have this, and they say that they called them.
And you described the cat.
Yes.
How far does the defendant live from you?
She lives across the street at the time. I also have the report from animal control.
Now, I'm going to look at that in a second. At some point, you were advised by a neighbor of yours that animal control was setting a trap for a black cat, right?
Yes, for a cat, yes.
Well, you say you were advised that animal control was setting a trap for a black cat.
Yes, a black cat, the cat that...
And your cats go in and out? Both of them or just
No,
one of them?
one.
The other one is strictly a house cat? So the one that goes out is a black cat.
That's right.
Is that cat bitten before?
No.
May I see the animal control
Yes.
report?
And she had told me that her sister gets bitten by that cat whenever I first met her.
When did she tell you that her sister was bitten by that cat?
I think I met her around October 14th, 4 days after they located her and the cat. And I was like, oh, I got bit by your cat. And she was like, yeah, the cat roams around all the time, and he bit my sister. He bites my sister all the time.
What did you say to her when she said the cat bites my sister?
Well, I was shocked that a cat like that should be roaming around the street and biting around without our knowledge, and it doesn't even have a collar.
What's
So-
your sister's name?
Noreen.
Noreen live with you?
Yes, she does.
Just
but
a second.
Okay.
That's my question. Does Noreen live with you?
Yes.
Does she work?
Yes.
Is she working today?
No.
Where is she today?
She's taking care of my cats and dogs.
How many cats do you have?
I have 2.
How many dogs?
2. They're all rescues.
When did you rescue this black cat? The one that bit her?
Yes, about 5 years ago. I'm not sure of the date.
When you were told about this, you did in fact pay for the rabies shot that the plaintiff got. Is that right?
I did.
Is that in a...
Oh, animal control, as soon as I told animal control that my cat was up on his rabies shots and told him the name of the vet and told him to call the vet if he had any questions.
What date was that?
It was after the day that Lamia came to see me.
So
That
it was
must have
after
been
her-
the 14th or the 15th.
She had already been to the emergency room.
Yes,
She incurred this bill before she found out that your cat was up to date on her rabies.
Yes.
On its rabies shots.
yes. But may I say something?
Sure.
Okay, she got the initial rabies shots, but there are 3 booster shots.
We're not even talking about the booster shots.
Okay.
We're talking about the $3,000 that she got as a bill from the emergency care that she went to before she knew that your cat was up to date on its rabies shots.
All right.
Do you understand?
I do.
That's a bill that, but for the fact that you let your cat out, she would not have incurred because she has to protect herself
I
by
understand.
following this procedure.
I understand.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
You still have that cat?
Yes, I do. Didn't bite my sister. He will take a nip, but he doesn't, blood is not drawn. All right. And he's never has bitten anybody else. He is a very friendly cat, and he's around people a great deal.
He shouldn't be outside.
But no one has ever complained about him. He's
Do you
he's
still
very
let him
friendly.
out?
Oh, yes. Because he's not vicious. And people...
Well, he bit her.
I know he did, but people come up to me and tell me, people who lived in the same apartment house that she does, and they say, oh, your cat's so friendly. I just love him, and they have names for him, and they visit with him.
Miss Grassi, you owe her $3,000. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done here.
Parties are excused and they step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
You hit a brand new car and you were dodging her
She came to my house.
because she wanted her money. You're suing her for harassing you. So let's understand what the ground rules are here.
Judge Judy.
I guess she knows what she's talking about because that's her job.
I'm so happy about her decision.
I do love my cat, and other people don't have that affection.
As a nurse, I knew I had to go get treatment. You have 48 to 72 hours, babies.
He's an outdoor cat. He was rescued from being outside.
People should have collars on their animals and not have them roaming around the streets, especially if they're known to bite or nip around.
You just can't take an outdoor cat and make him an indoor animal.
I'm glad I'm fine, and I'm glad everything turned out well today.
A mother's battle with her ex.
You never paid child support.
No, he never bought diapers.
You're far too involved with this, sir. You're far too involved.
Then her new man picked up the fight.
I walk my kids to school, they come in with guns, they've been threatening my life.
He wanted to disrespect me, slander me.
I'm not saying I'm completely innocent, I'm not.
There sounds to me like there's enough blame here to go all the way around.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Jeanette Ward and her fiancé, Travis Galloway, are suing the father of Jeanette's child, Jonathan Reed, for a false restraining order and harassment.
Order. All rise. It's case number 383 on the calendar in the matter of Galloway Ward versus. Be seated. Ladies, have a seat.
We're going to start with you, Miss Ward. Miss Ward, you and Mr. Reed have a child together.
Yes.
Girl or a boy?
A girl.
And she's 7?
Yes.
And you lived in what state when she was born?
In California.
Did you ever live with Mr. Reed?
Yes.
For how long?
2 years.
And after you separated, you remained in California?
Yes.
And you met Mr. Galloway?
Yes.
And you and Mr. Galloway have been together for how long?
For almost 5 years.
You have a child together?
We have 2.
Where are you from, Mr. Galloway?
I was born and raised, I was in Long Beach, California. Long Beach, California.
Do you have family elsewhere?
I was raised in foster care. I never grew up with my mom or dad.
Do you have any connection to the state of Washington?
I have friends, yes I do. I have friends out there. I moved out there to...
Did you have friends when you moved there?
Yes, ma'am.
From school, from
just growing up, from work friends, and we decided to go out there for a better way of living, better living.
And that was after your 2 children were born?
Yes, ma'am.
So in what year did you and Miss Ward decide to go to the state of Washington?
I want to say, was it December, late December of last year, January this year?
And you took Miss...
No, we took our family with us, yes.
Well, you took his family with you.
You're correct, you're correct.
And so this is what I'm gathering, putting together this case. You left the state of California with your 2 children.
Yes.
You said you were moving there for a better life.
Yes, ma'am.
And in all probability, without Mr. Reed's consent, you took his daughter as well. Did you have Mr. Reed's consent before you moved with your daughter?
No.
These papers don't make that clear, but I assume there was a lawsuit brought by Mr. Reed.
Yes, ma'am.
To return his daughter to her home state, which was California.
You're correct, yes.
And the judge who heard that case agreed with him.
Yes.
And said, you're a mother, you're a father, you each have rights. You can't take Mr. Reed's child out of the state of California because your family wants a better life without consulting him and putting him in the mix. Child is entitled to have 2 parents.
Your Honor, Mr. Reed hasn't been in the child's life. He hasn't been around.
Well, what I can tell you is, from what I gather from the papers, he now has custody of his daughter.
You're correct.
Since when?
He had custody September, but we went back to court and we got joint custody.
Well, how are you going to manage joint custody from the state of California?
Let me allow her to come visit me on her breaks, her winter, summer, spring breaks.
That's great. So you have her during holidays, winter breaks, and during the summer.
Right.
And other than that, she lives with her father in the state of California.
Right.
Who do you live with, sir?
I stay with my grandmother right now.
And where is your daughter living? With you and your grandmother?
Yes.
How is she?
She's very good. We just had a birthday for her not too long ago. She had a blast. Like November 19th, she just turned 7. She's having fun. Me and her's reconnected very good. It hasn't been that good since she moved away from her mother. It's kind of hard to undo everything that they have done.
Excuse me, Your Honor. We have video that's showing that his daughter is telling that she doesn't want to live with him. She wants to come back home.
Well, the problem, sir, is that you made a life choice to leave so that effectively...
The reason why I left was because of harassment from him and his family. They came into my door with weapons. I walk my kids to school. They're coming with guns. They've been threatening my life.
Well, I don't know what this lawsuit is about. I'm not quite sure. What you're suing for are the expenses that you had to incur coming from the state of Washington to California.
That's true, and also for harassment against Mr. Reed, and my moving costs because I moved out of state, trying to get away from his family and the threats.
Well, that's not what you told me initially. What you told me initially was that you moved to the state of Washington because you had friends there and because you wanted a better way of life for you and your family. That's what you initially told me.
Yes, ma'am.
And I probably was combination of things. Didn't necessarily need Mr. Reed in your family life. You have a lovely family, two children, and 3 with Mr. Reed's daughter, and she was well enmeshed in your family, which is all very lovely. But your mistake was your mistake, saying to him, you are a non-parent. We don't have to ask you if we want to move.
No, we had no contact with him.
For how long?
For years,
We went to
And
court.
we have video.
Just a second.
We had a court hearing in October of 2015 where he was supposed to come pick her up from school every other weekend and every Wednesday, and I have video evidence.
Just a second. Who brought that proceeding?
The
to
judge.
Give him, no. The judge doesn't bring a proceeding. Either he brought a proceeding against you for visitation with his daughter.
He did.
He did.
And he never.
Just a second.
I'm sorry.
That would be very, very. That would be very, very odd, Mr. Galloway. It sounds to me as if at least on 2 occasions that I know of, in 2015 and then again in 2016, Mr. Reed either used his own money, family money, friends' money, or whatever to pursue 2 actions to see his daughter. 2. 1 for visitation. Is that the first time you went to court with him?
No.
Has he brought other actions?
Yes.
Also for visitation?
Yes.
Because, you see, Mr. Reed views this whole thing a little bit differently. Do you have a problem with Mr. Galloway, Mr. Reed?
Yes and no.
Well, let's start with the yes first.
The thing is, you know, he wanted to disrespect me, slander me.
How did he disrespect you?
He called me a... everything under the Tuscan sun. Because he...
When?
Constantly. He mentions me in his Facebooks. He mentions me a lot.
May I see what you're referring to?
Let's see. Well, matter of fact, just...
No, don't give me a whole bunch of stuff. Just give me exactly what you want me to...
And he also just... I got text messages just saying I'm using my daughter for EB, just trying to get food stamps and everything else, which I know I work a lot. And he's saying he's disabled. So pretty much it's been a whole bunch of shh. And I got stuff on Facebook. I got stuff on my text messages, too. I had to comply with... Shh. Oh, yes, ma'am.
You want to tell me what this is about, Mr. Galloway?
Let's see. Well, I can tell you what this is about. He's filed different restraining orders on me. I got a phone call from Jonathan's brother saying, oh, well, come fight me. They tried to set me up to come fight them. And if I would have came, I promised Jeanette, no, I'm not going to go fight them. But what I got a phone call saying, come fight me, come fight me, come fight me. If I would have came, they had the lawyers and the restraining orders so that I can get caught up and sent to jail for fighting them. I said, well, that message is, okay, well, if you guys want to fight, we can fight fairly as men. No guns, no restraining orders, no help, no, you know.
Mr. Reed.
And that was my reaction towards their action.
That sounds to me like...
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm completely innocent.
There's
I'm not.
Enough blame to go all the way around.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
When I say to you there's more than enough blame to go around here, you don't have a case against him. But the truth of the matter is I don't think that you should be involved with their child.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Jeanette Ward and fiancé Travis Galloway say the father of Jeanette's child, Jonathan Reed, filed a false restraining order against Travis.
There sounds to me like there's enough blame here to go all the way around.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm completely innocent.
There's
I'm not.
Enough blame to go all the way around. When Miss Ward's daughter was living with you full-time, was Mr. Reed paying child support?
No. The reason why... I'm sorry.
These things usually have a pattern. Mr. Reed?
Yes?
You went for visitation, and I'm certain at some point that Miss Ward sought child support from you.
Yes.
Was there an order of child support?
No.
Why not?
Because they was trying to find her to make child support.
What?
They was looking for her.
We're talking about years ago, sir. You hadn't lived... Who do you work for?
I work for Walmart.
How long have you worked for
2
Walmart?
years. Before that, I was going to school and trying to finish up my education.
How old are you?
27.
So the answer is you never paid child support.
No.
He never bought diapers.
Let me explain something to you, Mr. Galloway. When I say to you there's more than enough blame to go around here, you don't have a case against him. This is an unfortunate family court situation, and you may find that it gets some things off your chest. But the truth of the matter is, I don't think that you should be involved with their child, you.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't think that he may have handled anything or everything appropriately.
Your Honor.
I'm not sure. I know you're going like this, sir. There's a lot of difference between going like this and what I'm reading here. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good.
But I have proof on my phone from text messages that I have not been involved. I have every text on my phone.
You have not been involved
I
with
have
what?
not been involved. He's bringing my name up.
Just a second. He didn't sue you. You sued him. That's what brought us to court today.
I'm suing him for harassment. I'm suing him for harassing me. I'm not suing him. I'm not involved in the child.
Mr. Galloway, did you ever seek and receive a protective order against Mr. Reed? Did you ever seek a court-ordered protective order? Question.
No, I have not.
Okay.
I received bogus reports.
That's not what I'm talking about. Okay. Did Mr. Reed ever seek a protective order against you?
He's tried.
Just a second. The answer would be yes.
Yes.
He did. And was he granted a temporary restraining order?
It was denied.
I didn't say final. Was he granted a temporary?
No, ma'am.
Was not. So that you didn't risk being arrested when you said that you risked being arrested?
No, that's just 2 days ago.
Oh, that's outrageous. What? Who are you?
I'm the aunt. I'm a witness.
We have a restraining order against her.
Just a second. Right now, I don't have to hear from you.
Okay.
Because he's not losing this case so far.
Okay.
And I don't think he will. But you really have to realize, Miss Ward, that your 7-year-old daughter didn't ask to be involved in this unfortunate family circumstance. You made her. She was born. And I assume that when you made her, you planned on trying to make her childhood as happy as possible. I assume that that's what both of you wanted when you had this child.
Yes.
That be right?
Right.
Unfortunately, it didn't work out between the two of you. That doesn't mean that you can discard him. Now, you have a lovely new mate with whom you have 2 children. I assume you're working in the state of Washington?
I have my own business.
What kind of business? In Washington.
I work in different states. I travel back and forth from different states.
Well, then the state of Washington could have been a possibility for you, as could have another place closer in California.
Yeah, I was trying to. We moved out of because we were walking one day while Jeanette was pregnant. She was pregnant. Some guys, the lady right here, and the daughter, and her dad pulled up on us with a gun, saying that we were in the wrong place. We moved out for our protection.
Just a second.
We moved out of
Don't
California.
speak.
And they pulled out a gun. They had a gun.
I don't want you to speak.
While she was pregnant.
Just a second. Them.
And they came to our door.
Just a second. Just a second. I'm not getting into them. I'm talking about him.
He sent them. He's texting me while this is happening.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You have a 7-year-old child. You can either make her childhood miserable or you can make her childhood happy. I guarantee you this. If you make her child miserable, she's going to get back at you tenfold.
Exactly.
With her behavior.
And later today,
your car got towed.
That's correct.
You had to get it out.
Correct.
How much did that cost?
About $200, $250 if I can check here, Your Honor.
How much?
It's about,
Not about.
Judge Judy. Jeanette Ward and fiancé Travis Galloway say the father of Jeanette's child, Jonathan Reed, filed a false restraining order against Travis.
Okay. Mr. Galloway, you don't have a case against him, but all I can tell you is you have a 7-year-old child. You can either make her childhood miserable or you can make her childhood happy. I guarantee you this. If you make her child miserable, she's going to get back at you tenfold.
Exactly.
With her behavior.
I have video.
She's going to... You're far too involved with this, sir. You're far too involved.
Because he's hiding. He's hiding behind... He's hiding behind some things. This video showed
Did you notice? You notice how... You're quiet. Is it because you understand?
No, I'm just waiting to speak.
I'm listening.
When I moved, I thought I had full custody. He wasn't in her life. I wasn't asking for child support. And every time we moved to get away from him, they end up finding us, and my life and my family life was in danger. So we decided to move to Washington.
Yeah,
and when
I want to tell you something. Unless this family court judge was totally out of his mind, he would never have returned the child to her father. Now, I don't know what the circumstances were, and I have absolutely no intention of spending 2.5 hours. Father went to court twice that I know of, probably more, in order to get visitation with his daughter, which I have a feeling, based upon what I'm hearing over here, was probably made difficult for him. Probably made difficult for him. Otherwise, I don't understand why he would spend time and money to go to family court and seek visitation, seek an order of visitation. I don't understand. You have no case. Goodbye.
Excuse me, step out.
He's putting false accusations on me. He has false restraining orders against me.
It was really good. Justice was served.
Got people threatening me coming to my house.
Not true at all. Not true.
Him and his family members coming to my house with weapons and pulling up on me with guns and stuff.
He wanted me out of my child's life.
I moved out of the state. I moved to protect myself.
We didn't do anything to harm her or jeopardize her any kind of way.
It's time to lawyer up.
Just hope that we can move on from this and get better.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Hall versus Rogers. Step forward.
Jason Hall is suing mechanic Dwayne Rogers for a refund for uncompleted repairs and a parking ticket.
Mr. Hall, you wanted to do a nice thing, fix up your car, an old car that you had to give it to your nephew.
Correct.
It needed a lot of work, and you brought it.
Side at his home?
He told you what it would take to repair it, and you gave him $1,000.
Correct.
When was that?
September the 15th, excuse me.
Of this year?
Correct.
Okay. Did he fix the car?
No, ma'am, he did not.
And then your car got towed?
That's correct.
From the street?
Correct.
You had to get it out?
Correct.
How much did that cost?
About $200, $250 if I can check here, Your Honor.
How much?
It's about,
Not about.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
And then your car got towed?
That's correct.
From the street?
Correct.
You had to get it out?
Correct.
How much did that cost?
About $200, $250 if I can check here, Your Honor.
How much?
It's about,
Not about.
$250.
When you got the car out of impound, when you brought it to him, you had to have it towed to him because it wasn't drivable?
Initially correct.
When you picked the car up from impound, from where it had been towed, was it drivable?
No, ma'am, it was not.
And when was it towed?
It was towed on October the 21st, this year.
So in 5 weeks, you didn't fix the car?
No, ma'am.
So you have to give him his money back?
Well, it just ain't that easy because when he gave me the money, I had to go buy parts.
Show me the receipts for parts that you bought.
I don't have no receipts.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,250. We're done here. Thank you. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I'm very happy with the decision. It's very quick.
I don't have all day just to be working on the car. I have a small window after I get off of work.
The evidence was there. She needed to see it. She saw it.
The car had got towed because of bad tags.
Take it to a dealer if you need it fixed.
The only thing he had to do was just change the tags, and it was still been there, and I could have fixed it.
Tenant troubles spill into the open.
How many times were the police called to the home?
At least 2 or 3. It was 10 times that the police had been called about my house.
And a landlord loses sleep.
They had multiple violent fights. He would hit her, pull her hair, she would hit him.
When was the last time you had a full-time job? FTJ, full-time job.
Before I went to prison.
There's more here. I just don't have time to go there.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin.
21-year-old Kiana Fisher is suing her ex-landlord, 24-year-old Emily Miller, for vandalizing and stealing her property.
Order. All rise. It's case number 370 on the calendar in the matter. Fisher versus Miller.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Judge Party's been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat, huh?
Are you Nicholas?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, why don't you stand up with Miss Fisher, please? Miss Fisher, you and your boyfriend rented a room from Miss Miller.
Yes, Your Honor.
How did you find the room?
Nicholas's friend is a coworker of Emily's, was a coworker of Emily's, and that's how we found out that she was renting out her room for rent.
And when did you move into the room?
The beginning of April.
How much was the room?
$650 a month.
Where were you working?
I was actually working from home. I owned my own business, so I was just...
What kind of business?
I was selling glass art online.
And what kind of work were you doing, Nicholas?
I'm unemployed at the moment, but my mom does own a grooming shop, and I'd help out over there when she needed help.
How long have you been unemployed?
I want to say about 2 years. I'm waiting for surgery for my shoulder. Both shoulders, actually. They're both damaged.
Miss Fisher, you stayed until what date in the room?
I stayed and I left on September 5th was the last.
How many times were the police called to the home?
I would say at least 2 or 3.
Who called them?
I do not know who called the police.
The police were called to the home because of fights between you and Nicholas?
Yes. It was just verbal. I mean, they did come,
I don't care.
Okay.
At least 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
How long have you lived in your apartment where you rented them a room?
It's a home in Citrus Heights. I've lived there since 2014, January.
Do you rent it?
I do.
Who else lives with you?
At the moment, I have a new roommate, but it's just me.
But just you?
Yep.
Prior to Miss Fisher and her boyfriend Nicholas moving in, how many times were the police called to your home?
Once, maybe.
For what?
It was a verbal altercation.
With whom?
My ex-boyfriend.
Ex-boyfriend?
Yep.
When was that?
March or April. I'm
of
not
what
sure.
year?
2016. I have the printout of the police reports between the end of July and September when they moved out, and it was 10 times that the police had been called about my house.
Your Honor, that does not sound correct whatsoever.
May I take a look at it?
10 times.
And a few of them were not called by me. Anonymous neighbors had called.
27th, 29th of July,
yep.
August 3rd, twice, or 5th, 3 times. Well, who called the police on the 5th of September?
I called the police. Oh.
You did?
Yes, to file a police report.
And I have 2 police reports made on the 5th.
Just a second.
I also have the police reports if you'd like to see them.
I would.
Okay.
At some point, you got an order of protection against Nicholas.
Yeah.
When was that?
I had spent 2 weeks in August to get my restraining order. Casey served him with a temporary restraining order August 31st. It said he was not allowed 300 feet within my home.
Tell me why.
Well, it started off with Kiana. She was accusing her boyfriend of doing drugs, which he had been to prison for before, methamphetamine. And they had multiple violent fights. He would hit her, pull her hair. She would hit him.
That is not true.
He was witness to it. His son was witness
Just tell
to
me
it.
why you filed a protective order against
So
him.
he was, after I had asked him about the drugs, I said, you can't do that in my home. If you're going to do that, you need to leave. And he said it was about time for him to leave anyways, so I had given him his 30-day notice. But he had told me that if his girlfriend's in the home, he is allowed there whenever he wants. And I said, you can't be doing that. And if you're going to act like that, you both have to fight like this in my house. I'm a 4-H leader. I'm a nanny. I can't bring kids around when you're like this. They had damaged a window. And when I did not know about it, Kiana had come to me and said, me and Nick were fighting. I'm so sorry about the window. We'll get it fixed.
What did you do to the window?
It was actually...
So it had broken.
I want you to tell me.
It had broken on its own when I was trying to close it. Well, when he was trying to close it, actually. And I had brought it to Emily's attention that it had broken.
I want you to tell me how the window got broken.
I was trying to pull the window down. And
why?
Because my cats go outside through the window, and I didn't want them to go outside, so I was closing the window.
I don't believe that. Put your hand down. I don't believe that. I want to tell you I don't believe it.
Okay.
You want to tell me how the window got broken?
I'm telling you the truth, Your Honor. Mm-hmm. Can he speak? He seems to have something to say.
Because I did most of the maintenance around the house. The whole entire house from the inside was damaged. It was the problem with the window is the slider that goes through it would jam up, so you cannot push the window down. So it takes like a lot of force to push it down. So when you push it down, it would bind up. Finally, we just push it down, and then the metal bracket that slides the window down is what broke.
I also.
Oh, just a second.
Yes, ma'am.
So you did that.
Yes, ma'am.
You did it.
Yes.
Let me tell you something, Nicholas.
Yes, ma'am.
10 minutes ago, shoulder surgery on both of your shoulders.
Yes.
Now you're telling me that you needed an awful lot of strength
Well,
to pull this window down. You were the one who pulled the window down, and you do all the maintenance around the house.
Yeah, lightly.
You want to tell me why you can't work?
I mean, honestly, I have...
No, I want you to be dishonest with me.
No.
I want you to look at this face, and I want you to be dishonest with me.
I've literally have tried to get jobs, and I've tried to do things around the house. Emily even knows. I've dislocated my shoulder multiple times just lifting things. It's just, I try to go about my business and try to actually do things without, because I forget about my shoulders, and they dislocate. I've been to the hospital multiple times. I'm actually scheduled for surgery, everything.
If you can pull down a window and do maintenance around the house, you can wash dishes.
I actually did wash lots of dishes multiple times.
Where?
At her house.
For money, for pay, for work, to get your behind out of bed, to go to work. Do you understand?
I do.
All right, good. I'm just trying to figure out who my players are.
Yeah.
And why somebody who appears to be, at least at first blush, an intelligent woman who also works out of home. Did you file tax returns last year?
No, I did not.
Well, you worked last year. You say you work out of your house. How do you make money, the two of you, to pay your rent and support yourselves? You get where I'm going?
Yes, Your
You understand where I'm going?
Yes, Your Honor.
Stupid isn't written over here. I've been in the legal system for a long time. You want to tell me how you make your money?
I have a job now.
You want to tell me how you made your money then?
Selling glass online.
Is that how you supported yourself?
Yes.
Then why didn't you pay taxes?
I guess I wasn't aware I had to pay taxes.
How old are you?
21.
You get any grants? You get any welfare? You get any food subsidy?
I did get food stamps, yes.
What else?
That's all.
Oh, no, there's more here. There's more here. I just don't have time to go there. I really just don't have time to go there. So you get food stamps, and yet you have a computer and a laptop that you said was damaged, and a waterbed, and headboards, and a 60-inch television set.
That was actually bought for me.
There's no such word.
It was bought, my bad, sorry.
Can I say something?
Let me tell you something. Do you know what I don't care about? I don't care about them. Are you getting my drift? I don't know what you're doing to scuttle by. I know that you were complaining that some of your marijuana plants were ripped out when
her and her boyfriend and 5 other trucks pulled up on our property, threatening my boyfriend, telling him to leave. Yes, that did happen.
After the restraining order was served and he wasn't supposed to be there.
The restraining order was...
Unless you can tell me where you got the money to buy a computer, a laptop, a 60-inch television set, and all the other things that you're complaining about to the tune of $3,000, I'm not interested.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
When was the last time you had a FTJ, full-time job?
Before I went to prison.
How long were you in prison?
Over 2 years.
For what?
Selling drugs.
What kind?
Methamphetamines.
See where I was going? See where there's no stupid written over here?
And later today.
When was the last time you had insurance on the car?
I have it now. I had it.
Prior to November 3rd, when was the last time you had...
It was broke down for about a year.
1 year you had no insurance on the car.
I wasn't driving it.
I'm speaking.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Kiana Fisher says ex-landlord Emily Miller vandalized and stole her property. Emily is countersuing for damage to her home and harassment.
Now, unless you can tell me where you got the money to buy a computer, a laptop, a 60-inch television set, and all the other things that you're complaining about to the tune of $3,000, I'm not interested.
She used to work for VSP before.
I worked previously to own, doing my own business. I wanted to do, so I started doing my own thing online.
So so now you have no job and an unemployed boyfriend.
I do have a job.
So now you quit your job and you have an unemployed boyfriend.
No, she recently she was working at VSP and then she quit her job to do the glass and then she works at
Ameritech Financial.
Yeah, Ameritech Financial.
And I've been working there since August, and I work full time. And I got a job because I knew I needed
September.
Job. Yes.
How old are you?
Almost 30, 29.
When was the last time you had a full-time job? FTJ, full-time job.
Before I went to prison.
How long were you in prison?
Over 2 years.
For what?
Selling drugs.
What kind?
Methamphetamines.
See where I was going? See where there's no stupid written over here?
I understand that, but I mean, when I got out of prison, I had no violations, no parole, no dirties, nothing.
Good for you.
Yes, thank you.
I have a counterclaim also. I have a counterclaim and all the pictures of the damages also that was done to the house after they received their 30-day notice.
Now, I have claims that you destroyed their stuff, and I have claims that you destroyed their stuff. I want the name of the neighbor who called to tell you that over Labor Day weekend, because I read your answer, that the plaintiff and the boyfriend were there moving stuff out for 4 days.
Yep, her name was Jeannie. She had written a letter, but I...
No. What's her last name?
Oh, I don't able to come.
I don't tell me. Jean is a next-door neighbor in a private house.
Jeannie, yeah.
Get me her name and her phone number.
Okay. She had told me that while...
Don't tell me anything that she told you.
Okay.
I will call Jean.
So her phone number is 8710.
Now, Jean has no idea that I'm going to call. Do you understand? I'm old. I don't like to walk from here to here and do something that's unnecessary. If I call Jean, is Jean going to tell me that the two of you were at the house over Labor Day weekend moving stuff out of the house?
No, we did. We did not move anything out of the house over Labor Day weekend.
Okay. Is that what you tell me?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
There's a police report on it.
I don't understand what she's saying. We were moving stuff out of the house. What?
You were moving stuff out of the house after he was served a restraining order, which in the police report,
Okay, I'm sorry.
I notified you that you cannot have
Just a second.
At the home.
Is Jean going to tell me that you were there over Labor Day weekend moving stuff out in a truck?
Yes, I'm sorry. I thought when you said Labor Day, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about July 4th. Yes, she will say that. We were moving stuff.
I'll see the pictures.
And I have a bill of damages. And then the rest of it is because Nick had threatened my horses that I had on my property.
Listen, they're not there anymore, Miss Miller.
No, but I had to move them because of him.
That's a lie.
Listen to me. Listen to me. I'm done with this case.
Okay.
So are you.
Okay.
You're done with them.
Yes.
You have a restraining order that was made permanent against Nicholas?
Yes.
It was?
Yep.
For how long?
I think until 2017.
Wonderful. Then we're done. Thank you. Bye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
She had damaged and stolen my property, and she wanted to be passive-aggressive and evict us.
Well, there was drugs involved, and after I found out about it from his girlfriend, I told them both that they needed to leave.
My laptop was completely damaged. The screen was shattered, drenched in urine.
They had 4 cats in one bedroom locked in there, so.
A 60-inch smart TV I put in specifically in my closet, and it was vanished.
I was pretty violent between them two.
We did get in verbal arguments, yes, I will admit to that, but it never got physical.
Look at your roommates. I learned it the hard way.
Don't have them. Roommates.
I'm happy it's all done. Thought it was done a long time ago.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Cardenas Carlson versus Taylor. Step forward.
18-year-old Alexis Cardenas and her mother, Kimberly, for an accident on the road.
Miss Cardenas, you were driving.
Yes, Your Honor.
You're her mother, and you own the car. You weren't in the car.
Yes.
You can sit down. You and Miss Taylor were in a car accident.
Yes.
And you claim that it was Miss Taylor's fault. Your car was damaged. You want her to pay for the repair. Miss Taylor said the accident was your fault. She sold her car at a devalued price, and she has a counterclaim. When did this accident happen?
November 3rd, Your Honor.
Of this year?
Yes.
What kind of car were you driving?
A 1999 Toyota Solara.
And you?
A 2004 Volkswagen Passat.
At the time that you were driving your car, did you have insurance?
Yes.
At the time that you were driving your car on the 3rd of November, did you have insurance?
No.
That's why we're here.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I was in the turning lane. I was sitting there. There was cars here waiting to turn, and my car, the rear end of it, I was already sitting here waiting for the light to turn green.
Then you were over the yellow line.
Correct.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Alexis Cardenas says fellow motorist Jamie Taylor is at fault for an accident on the road. Jamie is countersuing for the loss of her car's value.
Now, at the time that you were driving your car here, why were you driving the car without insurance?
We just got it running. It was broke down, and we just got the car fixed, and I ran across the street to AMPM and got in a fender bender.
When was the last time you had insurance on the car?
I have it now. I had it
prior to November 3rd. When was the last time you had
it was broke down for
Prior
about a
to-
year. Probably
1
about
year.
a year. Yeah. It was sat in my backyard, broke down for a while.
1 year you had no insurance on the car.
I wasn't
Was the
driving it.
I'm speaking. Was the car registered in the year 2016 in the state of, this happened in California?
Yes.
In the state of California, was it registered in the year 2016?
Yes.
So you paid for registration for the car in 2016?
My father did,
What?
yes.
I don't care who paid for it. I don't care who paid for it. Was the car registered in 2015?
Yes.
You want to go over to the map and tell me what happened in this accident?
All right. I was coming home from getting food for my family, and I am here. I was going to a stop, and that's when the defendant pulled out in front of me, and I did not have enough time.
Is that a shopping?
This is the gas station.
Gas
this is
station.
the AM/PM, yes. She had pulled out in front of me. I did not have because there was a car.
So she was coming out of a gas station?
Yes.
You had the right-of-way. You were on a two-lane highway?
Yes.
Two-lane street?
Yes, this is a turning lane.
And you were driving in the left-hand lane?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. You can go back. That's yours. Go over. It looks like pretty much the same to me, right?
That's not how it happened, no. I can tell you.
Were you coming out of a gas station?
I had pulled out already.
That's okay. You were coming out of a gas station.
I was in the turning lane already.
There's no turning lane there.
Yes, there is. There's it goes like this. Can I show you? Is that okay? Maybe the map's wrong, but what you have here is there's a lane here to go right onto Highway 18.
Listen to me. That's not where you were.
No.
Just point out where you were.
This is a turning lane. I was in the turning lane sitting there, right there. I was sitting there. There was cars here waiting to turn to go onto Highway 18. And my car, the rear end of it, I was already sitting here waiting for the light to turn green.
Then you were over the yellow line.
Correct.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Go ahead.
I was already sitting here waiting for the light to turn.
Can I see the bill to fix your car, please? After the accident, did she take off?
Yes, and I followed.
Did you fix your car yet?
No.
Can I see a picture of it, please?
Yes. I have multiple pictures.
Were you given a ticket for not having insurance?
For not providing insurance.
Were you
yes,
giving a ticket? The answer is yes. Judgment for the plaintiff, the amount of $2,500.
That's
We're
not
finished.
okay.
Thank you.
You didn't even hear my witness or anything.
We're done.
Parties are excused and they step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
He was speeding, and I was already in the turning lane.
I had just turned around a corner. I was not speeding.
I never tried to run away from her.
I was alarmed that she had taken off and didn't even check to see if I was okay.
Her mom should have her slow down because she's going to hurt somebody the way she was driving.
I know my daughter's responsible.
She lied.
I'm just glad it's settled.
It was started by somebody.
A new conflict between old friends.
Antoinette had texted me and cursed me out. Barnetta is a busybody. She liked to be involved in stuff.
And a run-in they'll never forget.
It was just me straddling me, grabbing me like this. Once I kind of realized what was going on, I started to fight back.
What injuries did you suffer?
I had 2 brain surgeries after this incident.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Barnetta Anderson is suing her former friend, Antoinette Coleman, for a false restraining order and pain and suffering due to an assault.
Order. All rise. Now it's case number 302 on the calendar in the matter of Anderson versus Coleman.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ladies, have a seat, huh?
Miss Anderson, you and Miss Coleman used to be friends, and then, sadly, you had a falling out. Subsequent to the falling out on the 6th of November of last year, it is your claim that Miss Coleman assaulted you.
Yes.
Miss Coleman says it was a fight, but it was a fight that you started. You want to tell me where this happened?
Your Honor, can I start with how it happened, if that's okay with you?
Sure.
Okay, Your Honor, on June 13th, Antoinette and her cousins was on the phone. They was having an argument because Antoinette and her sister had slept with the...
No. We're not going to go back to talking about anybody else's bad business.
Yeah, cursed me out.
Is that the text message she sent you?
No, this is the text message, my reply, because I sent it to her witness and my witness because we were all hanging together. So I sent it to them so it wouldn't be any nonsense. My reply to her.
Just a second. I would like to see her text to you.
I don't have her text to me.
Do you have it?
No. This happened a year ago, Your Honor. I have the reply because it was saved in my witness's phone.
What good is the reply going to do to me if I didn't see her text?
Okay, because it was just telling her that I didn't have anything to do with her family business. Leave me out of it.
Fine. Do you remember getting that text that she didn't have anything to do with your family business?
Yes, Your Honor. Okay,
so that was a while ago. That was in June.
Yes.
And?
So after this time, I was getting threatening messages. I told them then and there, please.
No, not them.
Antoinette and Andrea, her witness.
These two?
Yes, and their other sister. Please stop contacting me. I will call the police. It stopped after like 3-4 days. So this was June. Going to November the 6th, I have not had any contact with them at all. And at this time, myself, my witness, and another female was coming out of the Orpheum Theater. We seen some family members, close friends that we knew. We stopped and we talked to them. As we were standing there talking to them, one of the other people that was in her group came up, and I spoke to her, and we were all just talking. At that time...
What was the name of that person?
Her name was Monica.
Was she with you that evening?
Yeah. Between us.
Who came between us?
Monica. She just came over, you know.
I don't... So far, I'm not seeing that you had any contact with her at all. So far, you were talking to some of your friends. Somebody that was with her group came up and talked to you. Where was she?
I didn't know at this time.
Okay, so you didn't know?
Yes. So I was facing the wall, so my back was against the crowd. Next thing I know, personally, I woke up, I was laying on the ground. I have a videotape right here that...
Just tell me what happened.
Okay, I woke up. She was over me, straddling me, grabbing me like this. I heard her witness, Andrea Coleman, hollering, "Let them fight, let them fight." She was right at my head, and I've seen her.
Who was her?
Andrea Coleman was at my head, and I seen her, and I thought she was attacking me also. So I immediately started to attack. Once I kind of realized what was going on, I started to fight back. That's when she bit my hand, and then a guy out the blue.
Who bit your hand?
Antoinette. And that's when a guy from the crowd came and grabbed her up off of me. And I saved her days because I'm trying to focus because I just woke up and I'm trying to figure out these people I've known for over 20 years. My kids and Andrea's kids are cousins. I could never believe that they were attacking me just out the blue. So I'm standing there, and then immediately I just left. I didn't tell my witness or anybody what I was doing. I went next door. I called the police, and
Now, Ms. Coleman, I would like you to tell me your version of it, and then I'm going to see the video.
Okay, on November 6th, we was at the comedy show, and like she said, prior to that, we got into an altercation over the phone.
In June?
Yes, back in June. Barnetta is a busybody. She liked to be involved in stuff.
I didn't let her tell me because I didn't think that you wanted 10 million people to hear details of what the argument was about. Was I right about that?
Yeah, she was right.
Right. So I'm not going to let you tell me that she was a busybody.
Okay. So then at the Orpheum, how it's made, they have a downstairs and an upstairs. We were sitting downstairs, they were sitting upstairs. So we were coming out, they were coming down. So I seen Barnetta, but I proceeded to walk out of the Orpheum. Barnetta decided to follow me out of the Orpheum. So by then, all of these people is coming out of the Orpheum Theater. I get a few push from behind. I turn around, Barnetta Anderson is behind me. So I continue to walk out of the theater. But when we got outside of the theater, we stopped waiting for everybody else to come out the theater. Barnetta stopped right along with me, behind me. So by then, I'm agitated because I already done got pushed by you. So then,
well, you don't know who pushed you.
Well, I turned around, Barnetta was behind me.
Okay,
so
go ahead.
By then, I had confronted Barnetta like, you know, why are you following me? At this point, all I remember is her pushing. We ended up on the floor because my sister tried to come and grab me. But when she grabbed me, she fell back, I fell back. Barnetta fell on top of me. That's why Barnetta had scrapes to the knees, because she fell on top of me. I pushed Barnetta off of me, and when I pushed Barnetta off of me, that's when the tape shows me on top of Barnetta. Barnetta never blacked out. Barnetta fought back. It was a mutual altercation.
It was started by somebody. Did she get an order of protection against you?
We both had one.
No.
Yes, she did.
She did?
Yes.
She filed for protective order. Did you have a hearing?
Yes.
And was she granted a protective order?
Yes.
Did you file a protective order?
Yes.
Did you get a protective order?
They put a temporary. Yes.
Not temporary. Did you ultimately get a protective order?
Yes.
Let me see it. For how long?
Until we actually had our hearing.
Did you have a hearing?
Yes.
Is my question. Now,
Yes.
what happened after the hearing?
After the hearing,
It was dismissed.
it was dismissed.
Correct. So she filed for protective order. You had a hearing. Court heard that testimony because it all relates to the same night, and her protective order was granted. After she filed for protective order, you filed for protective order. You had a hearing. Court heard your testimony. I assume you brought any witnesses that you wanted to.
No, my witness wasn't able to make it.
I suppose you brought any witness with all these people who were around who would have testified on your behalf for a protective order. Said you didn't need it. Didn't believe you. Now I'll see the tape.
Your Honor, we also have a voicemail also. Andrea Coleman, like maybe 10 minutes after the fight, when she talked about what had happened and I got what I deserved. And it's very vulgar. I don't know if you want to hear it here in court.
Oh, I love vulgarity.
Okay. As you can see in that tape, Your Honor, I'm not moving. That's me with my hands up, not moving. Andrea's at my head and Antoinette is on top of me. You see my legs is not moving at this time, Your Honor.
But your arms are.
Yeah, because you're shaking me.
Are you wearing the green sweater?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the guy pulling her off of me, Your Honor. And now he's exiting her out the door. We were never out.
No, he wasn't exiting me. Someone else was.
So you was outside the door again.
What injuries did you suffer?
Your Honor, I have pictures also. Actually,
I'd like to see them.
I have of the before and the after. I still have the scar on my forehead and also on my legs. I also have a medical. I went straight to the doctor. After I took those pictures in the ambulance and I went to the hospital, I had various injuries to my head where she pulled out my hair.
Are these stitches in your forehead?
No, that's actually my head on something which made me pass out. I have a condition called Chiari malformation, which caused you to be dizzy and unstable. I had 2 brain surgeries after this incident. I would never attack her when I'm already dealing with instability.
I would like to hear the voice message. Did you call her?
Yes.
And she was there. She was the one standing at your head.
At my head.
Right. I'd like to hear it. Heard.
You have 2 saved messages. Saved message. At the end of the day, tell your talk.
I can't hear that.
At the end of the day, nobody killed Barnetta. I'm trying to stop my sister from beating Barnetta. She deserves a well. Let it be done. When the video come out, the she did not get jumped. So don't go around talking about jumped in.
I can't understand. You're going to have to... Nice. I'm done. Ms. Coleman, all I have to do is tell you this. You are defined by your language.
That's not even me on that phone call.
Who is it?
I don't know.
That not her.
That's somebody else's phone. Listen to the phone number. Ask Barnetta what's her phone number.
That was Andrea Coleman, and she also works at the hospital.
And?
So that's how she acts.
Okay, it's a relatively easy case for me. Court of competent jurisdiction has already heard your complaint against each other, found in favor of the plaintiff. I'm going to do the same. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. We're done.
Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Because Barnetta is a busybody and she likes to be in stuff that don't have nothing to do with her.
Well, actually, I'm very happy that she's seen the truth and knew that that was the truth.
Because she was speaking on things that didn't have nothing to do with her.
These women are very vicious, and
she threw the first blow.
By the voicemail, you can hear they're dangerous.
She got what she deserved.
Oh, yeah, I feel like, yeah, she should have to pay.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Rykuber versus Elliott. Step forward.
Janie and Gary Rykuber say Ken Elliott owes for the return of their deposit on a chapel for their daughter's wedding.
Mr. and Mrs. Rykuber, you were planning your daughter's wedding.
Yes.
Is that your only daughter?
Yes, it is.
And when was the wedding to take place?
March 14, 2015.
You went to a venue that was owned by the defendant.
Yes.
How did you find that venue?
My daughter and her fiance were driving.
Stand up and tell me. because your parents weren't with you. Tell me your first name.
Diana.
Diana, when did you see the venue?
We saw it in July, shortly after my fiance and I had just been engaged, and we thought the building was beautiful, and they had a sign out.
Do you have pictures of it?
We do.
I'd like to take a look at it.
There you go. We thought the building was beautiful, so we saw a sign out front saying that they hosted events.
It was a pretty building. It would make a nice courthouse, too.
Yes, it would.
Did you own this venue, Mr. Elliott?
I did not.
Who owned the venue?
Ron Smith.
He told us he owned it.
Shh. Don't speak.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
These are very nice things that you had printed out with your cell phone number on it, under new ownership. But that's a lie.
It really wasn't.
No, it is a lie. You clearly gave it to them. They didn't steal it out of your attaché case.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Janie and Gary Rykuber say Ken Elliott owes for the return of their deposit on a chapel for their daughter's wedding.
Now, how do you know Ron Smith?
The sign out front had his name or number on it, and I called him. I was interested in purchasing the building. He's a contractor, but we were in negotiations to purchase the building.
Who's we? And
I'm sorry, I was in negotiations to purchase it.
In what month and year?
I was to purchase the building after he had completed...
Just a second. Month and year that you began negotiations on the building.
I'm sorry, July of 2014.
And am I correct that there was never a formalized contract?
That is true.
Never a writing of any kind between you and Mr. Smith?
That is true.
So, for all intents and purposes, you have no connection with this building. You are not a rentor, you are not an owner, and he wasn't paying you to manage it. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Now, there is a phone number here that's crossed out and written. Whose number is 316-86?
That's mine.
Your number.
Right.
And they're not good guessers, so they didn't pick this number at random. So I must assume that you crossed out the number that's printed on this document and wrote in your own number.
No,
somebody had to write it in, sir.
Somebody, but I don't know that it was me.
Is that your cell phone?
It's my business phone. It's a cell phone.
Is your cell phone? Is that your cell phone? If I were to call you that number, would it buzz in your pocket?
It does go to my cell phone.
Okay, so there's your own
I don't
number.
know that I crossed it out.
Yes, you did.
Unless I initialed
Yes, you did. Crossed it out and you put in your number. Now, how much money did you take from the plaintiffs?
Approximately.
I don't want to know approximately.
$3,413, and that was the first half, a little bit less than the first half of the total wedding.
I didn't ask you for anything. Between July of 2014 and March of 2015, did you ever finalize in any way a negotiation with Ron Smith?
No, we did not.
Did not. Okay. Were you married at this chapel?
No, Your Honor.
Tell me, since you loved it, what happened?
Well, my fiance and I began making plans. We did have a couple of meetings with Ken Elliott and Marcy here, who is the wedding
With Mr.
planner.
Elliott?
Correct.
Now, did Mr. Elliott in these meetings ever hold himself out to be the owner of this?
Yes, he did.
Of course, otherwise you would say, why would I give him money?
Correct.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
There was no heat in the building.
There was
in
heat
Kansas.
in the building.
So if I had any brains, and clearly these people have brains, I would say to myself, I've got to find an alternative venue and not risk people have to wear their mucklucks and their boots to the wedding.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Janie and Gary Rykuber say Ken Elliott owes for the return of their deposit on a chapel for their daughter's wedding.
Now, he said he owned the premises.
Yes, he did.
Okay. Do you have any, other than your word, do you have any proof of that?
It says under new
May I see
ownership.
it?
With his name.
And his number on it.
Well, these are the very nice things that you had printed out with your cell phone number on it, under new ownership, the Grand Chapel. But that's a lie.
It really wasn't.
No, it is a lie. You don't own it. You didn't own it when you printed these things. You don't own it now. And you clearly gave it to them. They didn't steal it out of your attaché case.
No, we did.
No.
We gave it to
Okay.
them. However...
I don't want to hear a however. Now, You loved the venue.
I did.
So why didn't you have your wedding there?
Because my fiance and I definitely had cold feet when we drove by the building, saw a neon sign on the door. We went up to the sign, read it, which we also have a picture of, a
I'd
photo
like to
of.
see the sign.
And it stated that the building had closed. And the reasoning was that there was a boiler that wasn't working.
Just a second.
And we had never
So this
been
is what you saw.
contacted.
Okay.
Correct.
2015, and your wedding was scheduled for a month later.
Correct.
Okay, so that got you worried.
Very disheartening.
That got you worried.
Yes.
So building has no heat, and they don't have enough money to put in heat, so they're doing fundraisers. They did a mystery dinner theater, but that didn't raise enough money. They're going to try to do another fundraiser, but they don't have a venue yet in order to get something.
We were not responsible for paying for those repairs or for the heat.
I don't care. There was no heat in the building.
There was
in
heat
Kansas.
in the building. There was heat in the building, and we
Please.
did get heat in the building.
Please, Mr. Elliott. Mr. Elliott, why in the world would you, I mean, are you a businessman? Clearly you have some money. You have to have some money because otherwise you wouldn't be in negotiations with Ron Smith to buy this historic building. So why in the world would you put yourself in a position of not returning their $3,400? They didn't have the wedding there. There was good reason why they weren't sending out invitations to a building that at that point, a month before the wedding, didn't have heat. So if I had any brains, and clearly these people have brains, I would say to myself, I've got to find an alternative venue for my wedding and not risk coming to March 14th and having people have to wear their mucklucks and their boots to the wedding. So why wouldn't you just return their $3,400?
In a moment, closed captioning sponsored by. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
So why wouldn't you just return their $3,400?
Because we repaired the boiler in the facility after that was printed up, and we did get heat in the building. Ron was working with me, and we did get the boiler fixed, and we did have heat.
Show me.
Your Honor.
Just a second. Show me.
That the boiler worked?
No, show me the paid bill for the repair of the boiler that either you paid or Ron paid. Show me the paid bill.
I don't have that.
$3,400. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done.
Step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Well, I'm very pleased because it was very hard planning a wedding without a venue.
If the problems would have been an issue for their wedding, absolutely.
We've tried contacting him so many times.
But the problems, like the lack of heat, was fixed, and the other problems were not.
So we were trying to get to the end of it. He wouldn't even call us back.
Problems that would have impacted their wedding, so.
It was very disheartening considering that he didn't even try reaching out to us.
They should have contacted me and said something.
To let us know that the building had closed.
In the future, I don't know.
I'm glad she had a beautiful wedding, and so it all turned out okay.
I find Miss Reeves in my living room.
Did you let her in?
She kind of like pushed away and...
This former girlfriend has a different take.
I asked him for some money, and he agreed, and he let me in.
Who let you in?
Orlando.
But a foot chase and a 911 call say otherwise.
She's right here with me right now. Please get here.
So?
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
20-year-old Orlando Hernandez is suing his ex-girlfriend, 20-year-old Montiel Reeves, for intentionally damaging his property and assault.
Order. All rise. Now it's case number 306 on the calendar in the matter of Hernandez versus Reeves.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Miss Reeves, how long were you and Mr. Hernandez a couple?
About 4 years.
And during a period of that time, he was incarcerated?
Yes.
And while he was incarcerated, did you renew your relationship?
No.
So he came out of prison when, Mr. Hernandez?
January 19th of 2014, actually. I was incarcerated in juvenile hall.
For how long?
Almost 6 months.
So it's been a long time since you had a relationship of any kind with Miss Reeves. And how old were you then?
I was 17.
And how old were you, Miss Reeves?
17.
Now, I want you to tell me, Mr. Hernandez, what happened on July 24th of this year?
Well, on July 24th, I was out walking my dog, and I had got a call from my friend here that Miss Reeves was at my doorstep looking for me.
Would you stand up, please? Tell me your name, sir.
Benny Ma.
Are you a neighbor?
Friend.
Were you at his house?
Yeah.
Were you staying at his house that day?
Yeah, because I usually go over there and play games with him.
And about what time was this that you called and said Miss Reeves was at the door?
I do not know per se. It was like around noonish time.
In the afternoon?
Yeah.
Where were you, Mr. Hernandez?
I was out walking my dog, about 15 minutes away.
Prior to July 24th, when had you last seen Miss Reeves?
I want to say about a month and a half or 2 months before, when she, again, rushed into my house.
What do you mean rushed into your house?
She came into my house again, uninvited.
Did you ever report her to the police?
Yes, I did. And I tried filing.
For that, so let's say this was in July, you're talking about June, May, April, March. Did you have any social interaction with her at all?
None at all. None.
So you haven't been out with her on a date?
No.
Since you were 17?
Pretty much.
So you turned around, you got a call from your friend who was at your house, you turned around, you got back to your house with your dog. What kind of a dog do you have?
I have a dingo pit bull mix.
Got back to the house and?
I find Miss Reeves in my living room, and...
Did you let her in?
Kind of. She kind of like pushed her way in.
Well, what does that mean? You said kind of.
Yeah, like...
Did you let her in?
No, she like pushed her way a little bit.
What is a little bit?
Like, I was like hesitant on letting her in, but then when she like just started pushing, I just like let her in.
And what did she do?
I just waited there and I called Orlando.
Did she tell you to call Orlando?
No, she said she was looking for him.
Did she say why?
No.
Why were you looking for him?
I was not looking for him.
What were you doing in his living room?
I wasn't in his living room.
Where
He
were
let
you?
me in. He let me in.
Who let you in?
I called him prior to that because I asked him for some money, and he agreed, and he let me in.
Who let you in?
Orlando.
Orlando is Mr. Hernandez?
Yes.
So he let you in?
Yes.
Not his friend?
No.
Okay. So you hadn't actually seen him in a couple of months, is that right?
Yes.
Now, when you last saw him, did he call the police?
No, just that day of that incident.
You mean on July 24th?
Yes.
Now, what did you call him for?
If he can lend me $20.
Why?
Because I was in need of some money at the time.
Well, you hadn't seen him in a very long time.
I haven't, but when he got out,
He got out in 2014.
Your Honor, he was let out 2015, January 2015.
Yes.
Not 2014.
Is that right?
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
2015. What did you need $20 for?
For my personal need.
No, tell me what you need $20 for.
To buy some snacks or anything.
You needed
like
snacks?
That. Yeah.
What happened, Mr. Hernandez, when you got back with the dog?
Well, I proceeded to let her know that, you know, she's not wanted there. She needs to leave. At this point, she starts arguing back with me, and I immediately call the cops and get them on the line.
What do you do for a living, Miss Reeves?
I work at TJ Maxx.
And you, Mr. Hernandez?
I take care of my father.
What's wrong with him?
He's disabled.
Do you live with him?
Currently, yes.
What is that? That's a hesitation, Mr. Hernandez.
Well, my dad, he gave up his apartment, and he's going to be moving into it. He's waiting to get certified for a brand new apartment before he moves in, so I told him, you know, he can stay with me, you know, until he gets his place.
So he stays with you?
Yes, at this moment, but during that time, he wasn't.
Are you paid as a caregiver for him? You get?
About $1,400.
A what?
A month.
How old is your father?
He's 45.
What's the nature of his disability?
He's double below amputee.
Did he have a caregiver other than you before?
Yes, he has.
How long have you been his caregiver?
About June of 2015.
Did you finish your GED when you were incarcerated?
Yes, I graduated and I walked the stage March of, well, June 2nd of this year.
So tell me, now you turned around, came home, you found her in the living room.
Yeah.
You called the police,
yeah,
and they recorded the incident of what was going on in your house.
Yes.
Do you have something to show me?
Yes, I do. I have video of the assault and, excuse me, and everything that took place that day.
Because what you claim is Miss Reeves assaulted you?
Yes.
And in addition to assaulting you, she caused damage to your home?
Yes, she has.
I'd like to see.
I need assistance right now.
Okay, I cannot hear you with the yelling. Can you exit the apartment?
I told you it's 164. She just broke my headphones right now. Ma'am, I would expect you to track my location. She broke my headphones right now. She put her hands on me. Okay, I said my address is 2264. Get here now, please. She put her hands on me.
What is your last name?
Hernandez. She put her hands on me. Now she's slamming my door and doing damage to my apartment.
What is your date of birth?
My date of birth is 96. My friend's a witness. She threw this at me.
Today.
Well, she has weed on her and she's breaking out my window right now.
Okay. Have you been drinking anything today?
She locked my door and she's breaking out my window. Minnie, call the cops. Hey, she's right here with me right now. Please get here. No. What? No. Your hands on me. Do that phone at me right now. Minnie, call the cops and follow me. No, you just put your hands on me. You're on recording. You're on recording. Hey, Benny, call the cops. You guys need to get here now.
So?
I didn't destroy any of his property.
I don't believe the $20. Let's start with that. What were you doing?
Give me money.
I don't believe you. You want to tell me what you were doing in the apartment?
He was going to give me money. He let me in. I did not force my way into his apartment.
When you saw him on the phone with the police, which I saw, where were you?
I was in the room.
What room?
His bedroom.
Okay. Now, I saw you walk through the corridor. That was you.
Mm-hmm.
Walking the end of the corridor. That was you. Why didn't you just leave?
He wouldn't let me leave out the door. I was in the room.
He was on the phone with the police. All he wanted you to do was get out.
He wasn't going to let me out.
How did you know that? He wasn't blocking the door.
Well, I didn't know that. I didn't know what he would do to me. So I just locked myself in the room and jumped out the window.
Now, you have pictures of the damage.
I have the police report of that day, too.
The headphones here?
Headphones, too. I'm going to take a look at the police report, and I would like to see the headphones.
Also, I have receipts.
Police report?
Yeah.
Same report?
Yes. Yeah.
You weren't injured, were you?
She punched me.
You say she slapped you in the face.
No, I got hit right here in my lower jaw and my neck.
Did it require medical attention?
No, I was more...
You have a restraining order against the plaintiff?
Yes.
When did you get a restraining order against him?
December 29th, 2014.
2 years ago?
Yes.
Why?
It was ordered by the court. They thought I needed protection from him.
Why?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? You had to have applied for a protective order.
I didn't. I was in Marjorie Mason at the time when he was locked up.
You were what?
I was in Marjorie Mason.
What is that?
It's like a house for women that have been domestic violence and stuff like that.
Well, who was the victim of domestic violence?
Me.
And who was the perpetrator of the domestic violence?
Him.
And that was in 2014. So he was 17, you were 17, and what did he do to you?
He lacerated my knee. He threw me in some glass.
You remember that?
Yes.
I have the medical record for that.
He admits that he did that. Then why did you go to his apartment? Because you needed money for snacks?
Yes.
That doesn't sound normal to me. Does it sound normal to you?
No.
Not to me either.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He wanted to have sex with you, and then he would give you money. She looked back at the bedroom door, and she saw the roommate blocking the door.
They were both at the door.
That's not what you just told me a moment ago. You told me he was in the living room playing a game.
And later today,
You got the insurance check that he negotiated. You already have $6,500 in your hand. And then he says you fired him and hired somebody else to do it cheaper.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Orlando Hernandez says ex-girlfriend Montiel Reeves barged into his home, damaged his property, and assaulted him.
Now, how did these get broken?
I don't know. I didn't break him. I didn't destroy any of his property. I tried to leave. I tried to leave the scene.
Where was his roommate?
In the living room, playing the game.
What kind of game was he playing?
Fallout, something like that.
When did you first see his roommate?
Oh, I know him.
No, when did you see him that day?
When I was let in the house By Orlando.
And where was he?
Orlando was in the living room.
And where was his roommate?
In the living room.
And who opened the door and let you in?
Orlando.
How many bedrooms are there in that apartment?
2.
You went through the bedroom window of Mr. Hernandez's room?
Yes.
And his roommate was in his room playing games?
No, he was in the living room playing the game.
How did you know he was in the living room?
Because when I got there, he was there on the game.
And when you went into the bedroom, you assumed he was still in the living room?
Yes.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you what you told the police. Because after they interviewed him and you knew you were in trouble, you called the police. Because you figured Hernandez let you into his apartment, and he told you to go to the bedroom and he would get her some money. You told the police when she walked into his bedroom, she looked behind her and saw Mr. Hernandez's roommate follow her and stand in the doorway. That's what you told the police. And Mr. Hernandez said to you he wanted to have sex with you and then he would give you money. No. And said she looked back at the bedroom door and she saw the roommate blocking the door by standing in the doorway with his arms against the door jamb. You forgot all about that.
They were both at the door.
That's not what you just told me a moment ago. You told me he was in the living room playing a game.
Yes, he went to the living room. Before anything started, he was in the living room.
But I didn't ask you when everything started. I asked you where he was. You said he was in the living room.
Yes,
you didn't tell me that he was blocking the door by crossing his arms, not letting you out of the bedroom.
Before anything happened, he was in the living room.
She said she pushed Mr. Hernandez and told him that that was not going to happen and she was going to kick his... She said she pushed past Mr. Hernandez and his roommate with minimal force and left the apartment to call the police. You just told me you went out through the window.
I did go through
That's not what you told the police. That's not what you told the police. You told them you pushed past the apartment to call the police.
Through the window.
Yeah, okay, good.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
I want to see the bill or your check to the contracting company who ultimately finished the job.
Well, they're still working on the job because it took a long time for him.
Miss Burkett, let us understand each other.
Okay.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Orlando Hernandez says ex-girlfriend Montiel Reeves barged into his home, damaged his property, and assaulted him.
Okay, can I see the damage to the window? And how much were these?
Those are $411 after.
What?
Those were $379, $411 after tax.
Leave him alone. He doesn't want to be bothered with you anymore.
Okay.
Now, you have out-of-pocket damages of $456. That includes the screen that was fixed.
Yes.
And the headphones.
Yes.
You're suing her also for an assault.
Yes, I am.
And I'm telling you that I'm going to award you another $500 for the assault.
Okay.
$956.
I was excuse me, step out.
You know, I'm happy. I'm happy the way things came out.
I don't have nothing to say.
She wasn't invited. I knew nothing about that. She came on her own will.
I don't have nothing to say.
Well, judging on the last time she had came to my place, she wanted to throw herself on me for some money.
I want him to leave me alone.
Well, I hope she leaves me alone, you know, and get on with her life because, I mean, I've since made my life a lot better than what it was.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Burkett versus Menino. Step forward.
Tanika Burkett is suing contractor Joseph Menino for the return of her deposit on work he never performed.
Miss Burkett, you had a problem with one of your bathrooms, and allegedly you retained the defendant to do the work on the bathroom.
Yes, ma'am.
He came up with an estimate for the job, which was how much, sir?
It totaled out to be $6,500.
Was that $6,500 figure arrived at with her insurance company?
It was.
So the $6,500 was arrived at with her insurance company to do whatever work. She gave you a $2,500 deposit.
Correct.
That's what you're suing for back? You say he didn't do the job, you got somebody else to do it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you're going to tell me why you got somebody else to do it? I want to see the bill from the other contracting company who actually did the job. Your check to the contracting company who ultimately finished the job. May I see it, please?
We're still working on the job.
Well, then you brought your suit prematurely. I'm not giving you your money back. You got $6,500. I don't know how much you paid to have the job done.
Well, they're still working on the job because it took a long time for him.
Miss
Miss
Burkett, let us understand each other.
Okay.
Until I have proof of what it cost you to fix the bathroom with a paid bill and your check, you're not getting any money back from the defendant. I'm going to tell you why.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, what he says is that you got the insurance check that he negotiated for $6,500, which he probably padded, and then he says you fired him and hired somebody else to do it cheaper. So I have to find out how much the other company is charging you to do the bathroom. And it's disingenuous of you to say to me they're still working on it because you would have had an estimate and materials. You would have gotten a full estimate. This is what I will charge you to do the bathroom. Because you're a smart lady, you already have $6,500 in your hand.
He didn't even give me an estimate. He never wrote me up an estimate.
Listen to me. He doesn't have to give you an estimate. Because at the time, you didn't have any money coming out of your pocket. Listen, the arrangement you had, as long as the money wasn't coming out of your pocket, said you make the arrangements with the insurance company. Well, now you have $6,500 in your bank account, which is what he negotiated with the insurance company for his fee, and then you fired him. Now, if you got a contractor to do the job for $4,000 in the bathroom, that means that you're pocketing $2,500. And in addition to pocketing the $2,500, you want more money from him. So I'm not hearing your case until I see a paid bill and your check to a plumber or contractor who did your bathroom. Do you understand?
I understand what you're saying.
Great. So your case is dismissed without prejudice. We're done here.
Wow.
Parties are excused.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I had to have someone else come out and do the work because I can't afford to hire another contractor because he took money from me.
I don't agree with what she says.
No, he was lazy, and then he didn't show up half the time.
I would disagree with that, too. We went shopping like 3 different times.
Because he basically stole $2,500 from me. I gave him a check for $2,500.
We redesigned things 3 different times.
To do the bathroom, and he never showed up to do the work.
I worked at the house.
And then I think that he was on drugs and stuff.
I would have to deny that, you know. I don't know where that comes from.
Don't call Joe.
Be a little careful, right? Yeah, and get your contractor's name on the check from the insurance company.
You hit a brand new car, you had no insurance, and you were dodging her.
A driver wishing it would all go away.
But you gave her a phony number when she wrote down your number.
No, I did not.
Oh, yes, you did.
But this crash victim wouldn't let it go.
She came to my house and she actually rang my doorbell.
Because she wanted her money. You're suing her for harassing you. So let's understand what the ground rules are here.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Velvet Polk is suing Jeanette Wilson for vandalizing her car and harassment.
Order. It's case number 305 on the calendar, the matter of Polk versus Wilson.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Ms. Polk, I read the complaint and the answer and the counterclaim in this case. And what I'm getting from both of you is that you were involved in an automobile accident with the defendant.
Yes.
It appears that the accident was your fault.
Yes.
The defendant was driving a brand new car. She had gotten it a day or so before, correct?
Yes.
And it had insurance on it, correct?
Yes.
After the accident, which took place in a parking lot?
Yes.
After the accident, the defendant went to the police station. You were supposed to follow her.
No. Yes.
Just a second. Had you exchanged information?
Yes, I gave her my name.
You gave her your name?
My name and my number, yes.
Name and phone number.
Yes.
Did you give her your insurance card?
I did not give her my insurance card. My insurance card came out with my valid driver's license. She thought I had insurance, but I told her I hadn't paid my insurance bill.
Just a second. So the problem was you were driving your car that was uninsured.
Yes.
That's the problem. Now, she used her insurance to fix her car, but she had a $1,000 deductible. That was your responsibility. Let's get the facts of this case straight out, because I have a feeling you're not processing what this is all about.
Yes.
Because she wanted her money.
Yes.
Other than that, she wouldn't have called you. She wouldn't have called you 100 times or 50 times. She wanted her money because you were driving around, you hit her brand new car, you had no insurance, and you were dodging her.
I was not dodging her.
Absolutely. Did you give her her $1,000?
No.
Well, she's going to get it today.
Okay.
So let's understand what the ground rules are here. Your allegation is that Miss Wilson vandalized your car.
Yes.
And the accident to her car that you caused happened on what date?
It happened on May 13th.
Now, she had your name
Yes.
and telephone number. Did you ever speak to her on the phone?
Well, she didn't. She claimed I didn't give her she didn't write down the right number at first. So she called Progressive, and Progressive was calling me, and I told Progressive to give her my right phone number.
So not only did you give her no insurance card because you didn't have one, but you gave her a phony number when she wrote down your number.
No, I did not.
Oh, yes, you did. Oh, yes, you did.
I didn't give her a phony number. That's
Yes.
why I told Progressive to give her the actual phone number.
That was only because you got called by what you considered an authority.
Well, no, she
But at the street, when you asked her for your name, you gave her your name, didn't give her your license, didn't give her a registered phone number that turned out to be wrong.
Because she wrote it down wrong.
No. She's driving a brand new car that you just hit in an accident that was your fault. I guarantee you Miss Wilson did not write down the number wrong, because that doesn't make sense. What makes sense is that you were smarty pants and gave her the wrong number and figured she would go away. Well, she didn't go away. Now, on what date do you claim she vandalized your car?
May 17th.
I'd like to see a police report.
Your Honor, I have a copy of the police report, too.
Just a second. I'd like to see it. Is it the same report?
It's not dated the 17th.
Okay. I'd like to see what you have. Well, first of all, this says that this happened on July 7th.
That police report says it happened on October 5th.
This report says it happened on July 7th. And this says it happened on October 5th.
That's the date when I got the actual police reports. That's the incident when I called, when she came out to my house.
It says date, 7/7, description, scratches passenger door, 3-car tires, October 5th. Actually, it says the occurrence date was on October 5th.
And there's a narrative, too, Your Honor.
Shh. Okay, so now I'm going to read what the narrative is. The victim, that would be you, says, on May 17th, upon arising, I spoke to the victim, Violet Polk, who stated that sometime between 22:30 hours on Monday the 16th and 800 hours on the 17th, an unknown suspect damaged her 2012 Dodge Charger by slashing tires and putting scratches on the driver's side, passenger side.
Yes.
So your car was vandalized?
Yes.
And?
Well, I said it was...
Don't raise your hand.
Well, because when I was talking to her the day before and we was back and forth in arguments, she was...
What were you arguing about?
Saying that she wanted the money damages to her car. She found out where I stayed at and she was going to come to my house.
Why didn't you say to her, I'm sorry, I didn't have insurance. Can I work up a payment plan for you to pay off your deductible?
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't.
I have
Absolutely
it. Yes,
not.
I do. I have it in Texas where I told her because when the accident, when I got out, it was some minor scratches. And I told her that if she didn't, she said she knew somebody. I said I knew somebody as well. And we said it would be no more than a few $100s. I got out of her car. She never called the police or anything. But I have it in Texas. We discussed a few $100s. I sent her a text to her phone. And I said, you got greedy. I told her, I said, you got greedy, and then you went and got estimates. I sent her a text.
Just a second.
Your Honor?
Her insurance, which she had, fixed her car, but she had a $1,000 deductible. I am certain that you have the bill for me with the $1,000 deductible.
Yes.
Get it out, and Officer Byrd will take it.
Your Honor,
Just a second. You reported an unknown person vandalized your car. Connect the defendant with that unknown person who vandalized your car. Connect it.
I have voicemails where she has threatened me, saying that she have came to my house and know where I stayed at.
Okay.
And she have looked me up on the internet.
I know where she stays.
Just a second. So, connect her with the vandalism to your car.
You want me to show you the app? You want me to show you?
No, I want you to connect her to the vandalism, and if you want to speak to these two young ladies, maybe they can help you. Don't. Neither one of you witnessed her vandalizing the car. No way.
Your Honor,
Well, no, there was
way.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
No, just a second. No way, because this
Your
police
Honor.
report was the next.
That is three. There's three different incidents.
Emails, text messages, and everything.
Don't speak.
Sorry.
Your Honor, I never
Don't
seen
speak.
these ladies before in my life.
Just a second.
Sorry, Your Honor. There are three different incidents. There's a tire being slashed. There's when she came to my house on October 4th, and she actually rung my doorbell.
In October? You mean you hadn't paid her by October?
No, I didn't pay. I hadn't paid her because my tires was getting slashed. I was going to file. I was trying to get a lawyer to file bankruptcy, but my tires had been slashed. Once I was trying to get the money, my tires was getting slashed. My car was steady being vandalized. I seen her vandalize my car.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, on the second.
Just a second. Show me your police report. Okay. I just want to see. So far, I've read a police report that says unknown suspect.
Here you go.
Now,
these are the other two police reports.
Fine. I'm going to take a look at them.
I have pictures.
Your Honor, give her the text.
I don't want to.
Okay. I have my pictures. I have my voicemails. I have the text messages. I have everything.
All I will hear anything and look at anything where she admits vandalizing your car.
Can you hear the voicemail where she threatens her, Your Honor?
No.
Oh.
And don't shout out again, I'll put you out. Were you ever contacted by the police about any vandalism?
No, ma'am. I even went to the police department to get a copy of the police report she wrote on me.
Now go. Out.
If you read the narrative, Judge Judy, on the police report I gave you, I have something to contradict what she's saying.
All I know is she called the police. She said you would come to her house, and she saw you pass by her car on that date and do something to her car. And when she went out to look at her car, and that was on
October 4th. She came 2 nights in a row, October 4th and the 5th.
Just a second. This was on October 3rd, is what the report says.
October 3rd.
Oh, well, so it wasn't the 4th or the 5th. It was October 3rd.
Okay, October 3rd and October 4th, because she came 2 days in a row.
But the police report that I have, Your Honor, says October 5th.
May I see it?
I gave it to you.
Oh, that one says the 5th.
Can I tell you why it says the 5th?
But
because
look at read the narrative, Your Honor.
Because on the night of the 4th, it was at 11 o'clock. So when they came out and actually called my phone, I had went to sleep. They called 2:40 in the morning. So when I seen I had a missed call when I was taking my daughter to school at 7, I called them back, which was the next day.
What were you taking your daughter to school in?
On a flat tire.
What were you taking your daughter to school in? In your car?
Yes.
And who insures your car now? Give me the name of the company that insures your car.
Acceptance.
We're going to stop here right now. Copy of your updated insurance to show me that your car is currently insured.
Okay.
Great. We'll be back.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
If your license are suspended, nobody's going to insure you.
Your license was suspended on July 22nd, 2016. Why was your license suspended in July?
And later today.
So far, we're not in a good situation, you and I, because you started out by not telling me the truth.
Yes, Your Honor.
Because so far, you've lied to me 4 or 5 times in a span of 5 minutes.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Velvet Polk says Jeanette Wilson vandalized her car and harassed her. Jeanette is countersuing for car damage, a false police report, and emotional distress.
Now, I'll take a look at it. So this accident happened in May, and you finally got insurance in July.
Yes.
Now I'll hear you.
I've never heard of an insurance company insuring somebody with suspended license. I contacted the Ohio Bureau of Motor Vehicles.
Just let me see what they sent you.
If your license are suspended, nobody's going to insure you.
Your license was suspended on July 22nd, 2016. Your insurance was effective July 9th. Why was your license suspended in July?
Well, that's because I hadn't made arrangements to pay her. So they said once I had made arrangements to pay, because whatever her insurance had called the BMV and had got my license insurance, they had sent me
Do you
something.
have a license? Was your license reinstated?
No, but they gave me my license back.
Was your license reinstated?
No, my license has not been reinstated yet.
So what were you doing driving your daughter to school in October?
Because she didn't have a way to school.
Your case is dismissed. Judgment for the defendant on her counterclaim for $1,000. We're done.
Can I say something, Judge?
Your case is dismissed.
Okay.
You do the wrong thing. When you do the wrong thing, you don't come to court and ask for their help. Let me tell you what you did. You drove a car without insurance. I don't know why you didn't have insurance. You finally got insurance 2 months after you caused damage to her car. Then they suspended your license. I don't know why they suspended your license, but they suspended it in July. And you still continue to drive. You don't get rewarded by courts for that. Do you understand? And you gave her a wrong phone number. I mean, I understand everything that you did, but then don't come to court and say, poor me, I'm a victim.
Judge, I did not give her the wrong.
Done.
Why is that excused? You may step out.
I admit that what I did was an accident.
She hit my car.
But what she did was intentionally her coming to my house.
No, I did not.
Threatening me, came to my house several times, damaged my car.
No.
I don't know why the police didn't arrest her.
To drive with insurance.
No, it has not been fixed.
And a driver's license.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Brown versus Thomas. Step forward.
Charles Brown is suing his ex-girlfriend, Victoria Thomas, for a stolen laptop.
Mr. Brown, Miss Thomas used to be your girlfriend. This lawsuit is about a laptop.
Yes, ma'am.
A laptop that you claim Miss Thomas took with her when the two of you separated and she left.
Yes, ma'am.
And you acknowledge that she purchased it, but your claim is that you gave her $400 in addition to the money that she owed in rent to make up for the cost of the laptop. It was yours.
Right.
Miss Thomas says, no, it's her laptop. Okay, so let's go back a bit with you, Miss Thomas. When did you move in with Mr. Brown?
I never stayed with Mr. Brown.
Well, you did stay with him because he gave you a key to his apartment. That's
Right.
what you said in your answer.
Yes, Your Honor.
So that you did stay with him.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so let's not play.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
I read.
The month of June.
June what?
I don't know the exact date, but the month of June.
Well,
I stayed with
you
him.
had been living with your family before.
Yes, Your Honor. So I stayed with him the month of June.
And they asked you to leave, or you decided to leave on your own?
He asked me to move with him, Your Honor.
Okay, so now he asked you to move in with him.
But I stayed with him only the month of June.
Were you working at the time?
No, Your Honor.
So far, we're not in a good situation, you and I, because you started out by not telling me the truth.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
If he gives me a key and I only stay there 3 days a week, does that mean I moved in with him? I had moved back home. We were on and off because he was head of infidelity. That's why I'm trying to, I don't understand that.
Oh, you understand me just fine.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Charles Brown says ex-girlfriend Victoria Thomas stole his laptop.
Now, how much was the laptop and when did you buy it?
I bought the laptop in June, but it's not charged till July the 26th.
On what date does it say it was purchased?
It says it was charged on July 27th.
July 27th.
July 26th.
We're still not doing well here, you and I. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
Okay.
Now, when you moved in with Mr. Brown...
Not all my property. I still have property at my parents' house.
What property did you take with you? Be very careful.
Yes, Your Honor.
What were you doing when you were living with your parents?
Looking for a job.
Had you gone to school?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
What school?
Virginia College for respiratory therapy. And I'm also in the Army Reserve.
When did you last go to college? When was the last day you attended school?
April 2016.
You had a laptop when you were in college.
No, Your Honor, I didn't.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
I didn't have a laptop.
I don't believe you.
I understand that.
Yeah, because so far you've lied to me 4 or 5 times in a span of 5 minutes.
I'm not trying to lie to you, Your Honor.
Well, but you did.
Yes,
you understand you did when you first started. I said, when did you move in with him? You said, I never moved in with him.
I have a question. If he gives me a key and I only stay there 3 days a week, does that mean I moved in with him if all my belongings are not there? That's why I'm trying to, I don't understand that.
Oh, you understand me just fine.
Okay.
How many years did you go to college?
2.
You had a laptop. Who paid your tuition?
The military, Your Honor.
Did you also get paid from the military?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you lived at home?
Yes, Your Honor.
Great. You had a computer.
I didn't have a computer.
Oh, yes, absolutely you did. Military paid for your education. Military probably paid for a computer. Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay. Now, when did you give her the $400? On what date?
I gave it to her like in pieces. The last $200 I gave her was on August the 19th, the day before she stole the laptop. I was at the barbershop getting a haircut. She pulled up. She was like, "Well, I need," cause we weren't together no more. So I was trying to.
When did you separate?
August.
And you say you separated in August. Is that when she moved out of your apartment?
Yes, ma'am.
Beginning of August, middle of August, end of August?
It's beginning of August.
Your Honor, that's a lie. I haven't been in his apartment since July because I had caught him sleeping with his other baby mama. So I haven't been in his apartment because of his infidelity. I stayed with him in June.
You say right in your answer that in July you got a security job and I needed to carry a gun for work. I'm licensed to carry and was saving for a gun when he offered to loan me his. Around the same time, I purchased a laptop. That was in July. That's what you just swore to. You just told me a minute ago you only lived there.
Off because he was head of infidelity. He was sleeping with his baby mother.
How much did you give her for the laptop?
$400.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $400. We're done.
Please excuse, you may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
You came over there, you was waving that gun, and go bust your across the head. That's what happened.
No, I wasn't waving it around. I was returning his gun, which he's a felon, by the way.
You came over there, you weren't returning a gun, first of all, because I never gave you a gun.
A felon, so he's not supposed to have a gun.
I'm not supposed to have a gun, exactly.
He called me over there to bring the gun, and that's when I got hit in the mouth.
You came over there, how can you get hit when you got a gun in your hand?
Because he set me up to get hit in the mouth, and I have a permanent scar, but...
You got the gun in your hand, and you talking about I set you up to get hit, which I took you to the hospital that night, Victoria.
By his ex-girlfriend.
She could say anything.
Because I was arguing with him.
I'm going to put a restraining order on her. That's what I'm going to do.
I mean, I have nothing to say to him.
I think he had a crush on me.
I don't care what you think.
A loan ends a long-term friendship.
Did you tell him what the $1,850 was for?
I told him it was for my rent and my deposit. He said, I think I could be able to do that for you with no problems. We just can't tell my husband.
And a marriage is put to the test.
Now I want you to tell me about the assault.
He asked me when I told him to keep his mouth shut and leave.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
William and Linwood Bielfeldt are suing William's co-worker, Roderick Grant, for an unpaid loan and an assault.
Order. All rise. It's case number 293 on the calendar in the matter of Bielfeldt versus Grant.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Who's William Bielfeldt?
I am, Your Honor.
And you're Linwood?
Yes, ma'am.
You didn't loan the defendant any money?
No, ma'am.
And it's not alleged that you assaulted him at all?
No, ma'am.
You can sit down. I don't know why you're a plaintiff. Do you know why he's a plaintiff?
Yes, ma'am, because he's my husband and he's on the account that we withdrew money to loan him.
No,
but he was
wasn't
not
involved.
knowledgeable of it.
He was not involved.
Correct.
Well, then he's not a plaintiff. Now, you, Mr. Bielfeldt, and Mr. Grant worked together.
Yes, ma'am.
And it is your claim that Mr. Grant came to you and told you that he was sort of in dire straits financially, needed some money to relocate, needed first month's rent and security deposit. And you made
$50.
And that was for a month's rent and a month's security?
Correct, ma'am.
On a new apartment. And when did you give him that money?
We began talking about it on April 3rd. I gave him the actual money on April 6th.
How long had you worked together?
We've worked together for a total of 4 years, but I've known him for 10 years, Your Honor.
And exactly what did he say to you?
On the 3rd of April, we were driving into work as he was giving me a ride to work that day. We were carpooling. And he was telling me how he was having an issue at home.
Had you done that for a long time?
Yes. And he had told me that he was having issues at home, which he has been telling me prior to that, but leading up to the April 3rd. On April 3rd, he told me that it's gotten so bad that he was probably going to have to stay in his car. As a friend and as a nice person.
Who were you living with at the time?
Well, I was already staying in another place, but I had to move out of there because it was in a bad neighborhood.
When you say you were having trouble at home, were you living with somebody at home?
I was having trouble in that neighborhood that I had moved to before that. It was like a very bad neighborhood, and I was getting a lot of like people messing with me, assaulting me, and things like that. So I had to move from out of that neighborhood.
Okay, and is that what you told the plaintiff?
I told him that because I needed to move because I wasn't happy with the situations that I was in.
And did you tell him that you were in need of money?
No, I was not. I did not tell him that I was in need of money. He generally...
No, pay attention.
Okay.
Before the 3rd of April of this year, had you ever given Mr. Bleifeld money yourself?
No.
Had Mr. Bleifeld given you money before April the 3rd?
No, not before April 3rd.
And you've known him for 10 years?
Yes, ma'am.
So now you know somebody for 10 years. There's never been this back and forth with either gifts or loans of any money. So something clearly had to be said, Mr. Grant, in order for him, because you don't deny that he gave you $1,850. So that's not an issue.
Correct.
The issue is for you to explain to me how you have a friendship with somebody with whom you are employed and why there would be an exchange of this specific amount of $1,850. We're not talking about $200 or $500 or $1,000. We're talking about $1,850. You have to explain to me how that $1,850 came about so that I accept your explanation.
Well, to be truthfully honest with you, sir,
I want you to be dishonest with me.
I'm going to be dishonest with you, but I mean, I felt like that.
Just a second. Did you just say you're going to be dishonest?
No, I'm going to be honest with you.
Oh, good. Okay, so I want you to be very honest with me, and I want you to explain to me why this man who you've known for 10 years, who you work with for 4 years, who you've never had financial dealings with before, would give you this odd amount of money, $1,850. I want you to tell me how that... I don't care what you think.
Because he would always buy me dinner.
No, listen to me. Pay careful attention to me. I want you to tell me. I don't care what you think. All I want to know is how it came about that he gave you. What did you say to him? What did he say to you that inspired this check for $1,850? Just that amount.
I told him I was having apartment situations, and it would be nice.
And? It
would be nice if I could probably get some assistance. And
keep going.
He offered.
No. Nice get if I some assistance. I want to know the words.
I'm telling you the words.
So those are the words. It would be nice if I could get some assistance. Shh, just a minute.
I didn't.
And then he said to you, he must have said to you, what kind of assistance? You want me to rent a U-Haul? What do you want me to do? What did he say to you?
And he said, well, I'll be able to help you out. I told him how much I needed.
Well, no, tell me exactly what you said to him. Not, I told him how much I needed. That's not what you said to him. You didn't say, I told you how much I needed. You said, I need $1,850.
Yes, I told him I needed $1,850 to move into my new place.
In order to?
And to move into my new place.
Okay. And did you tell him what the $1,850 was for?
I told him it was for my rent.
$1,850 first month's rent and security deposit.
That is correct.
Okay. And then what did he say to you?
He said, well, I think I could be able to do that for you with no problems. We just can't tell my husband.
And then what happened? That was on April 3rd. So tell me what happened.
And throughout that time...
Don't look up. Look here.
Throughout that time,
Throughout what time?
Throughout that time when, through the process of him loaning me the money, he was still flirting with me.
I love it. I love it. Let's play it. Just a second. Mr. Bleifeld.
Yes.
I want you got to listen with your ears and keep your mouth shut because God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. What Mr. Grant just said was, during the time when he loaned me the money. That's what he just said. Now, he may not have realized what he just said, but that's what he said.
And that's what happened.
Good. Fine. $1,850. Now we're going to talk about the second part of your lawsuit, which is you say that at some point Mr. Grant returned to you $200.
That is correct.
Had you originally given him $1,850?
I did, and he paid me $200 in the beginning of June.
So that means he owes you $1,650.
That is correct.
And when did he give you the $200?
The beginning of June. I was with my husband. We were walking around a Pride festival in our city.
No, just a second. Did you give him $200?
No.
You didn't?
I didn't give him anything.
Oh, so you still haven't given $200. Shh. 2 of these, 1 of these. Do you understand?
Yes.
He knows how to dig it. All you have to do is give him a shovel.
I'd just like to be honest.
Just a second. No. Mr. Grant wants to be honest. He says, I didn't give him $200. And you want me to believe you? Just a second, you want me to believe you?
Yes.
Good, I believe you. You didn't give him $200, so you owe him $1,850. Now I want you to tell me about the assault.
Yes, Your Honor. On the beginning of April, as I said, I gave him this loan. The end of
We're past that.
Okay. End of April, it was the last day of our seasonal employment, as we work for a seasonal job. It was the last day he dropped me off at home. In between the trip at home, I asked him, when will I be getting my money back? Because it was off season, I wouldn't be seeing him at work. He indicated that he would give it to me within a month. So we got home, we were still arguing about the date and time that he was going to bring me my money. I got out of the car, he got out of the car screaming and hollering at me. Again, he is right. My husband was unaware of this loan.
Got it.
When my husband heard the argument that was happening outside, he came from the house to see what was going on. He ended up telling my husband that I indeed gave him a loan. As I got upset and I was mad because, you know, I'm more concerned about my relationship at home.
I got it.
He pushed me when I told him to keep his mouth shut and leave. I still a mark that's on my arm, and I have proof to show that I suffered pain.
Just a second. Did you file a police report?
No, I did not.
Why not?
Why? Because I was too concerned about making amends with my husband because I was...
Just a second. I just wanted to know if you filed a police report. Do you have any medical records?
I'm sorry?
Medical records.
No, I do not.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,850. We're finished. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
That's what friends are for. If he wasn't trying to holler at me or trying to flirt with me, we probably would never had this problem.
He says that's what friends are for. That's not what friends are for. Friends are supposed to be trusted. He was untrusted.
If we would have had actually agreed upon it and actually made documentation and signed it, I probably would have, but we never did that.
I never just freely gave him money. If I was going to freely give money, I would give it to a nonprofit organization, not him.
It's pushed us away a little bit, but I mean...
There's no more friendship. Friendship should be someone that you trust, and I can't trust him.
He's been my friend for 10 years. I still care about him, but we just won't hang out and be as cool as we used to be.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Calitri versus Duncan. Step forward.
Devin Calitri is suing Clinton Duncan for unpaid car payments and lost wages.
Bird, while I'm doing this and inquiring, would you please look up a 1999 Ford Expedition XLT?
Sure thing.
How long have you known the plaintiff?
Since high school, Your Honor.
And she was selling a car. How did you find out she was selling a car?
Through a mutual friend.
And you went and took a look at the car?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
When was that?
Around mid-March.
Did you see any advertisement for the car, or you just heard it by word of mouth?
Just by word of mouth, sure.
Did you know what she was asking for the car before you met her?
No, ma'am.
So you met her in mid-March, and she told you what she wanted for the car?
Yes.
How much did she want for the car?
$1,000.
How old are you?
30 or 43.
I sometimes try to transpose digits myself. Doesn't work. I assume before you went to look at the car that you either went on the internet or got a Kelley Blue Book value of the car.
Yes,
I
ma'am,
assume you did.
Rough estimate.
And what was the rough estimate on the car?
Somewhere around $1,000 to $1,200.
And what source did you use?
Just on the internet, just maybe NADA or something like that.
Do you have a price for the car?
$950.
Is there a range, or it's just $950?
It's between $825 and $950.
Now, I assume that before you went to sell the car, you also looked up its value.
I did, Your Honor.
And I assume a Kelley Blue Book is a Kelley Blue Book.
My Kelley Blue Book value actually came up differently. I did it online. I don't know if that makes any difference. Up to great, excellent condition was $1,800 to $2,800.
I'm going to give you an opportunity to go and find that site for me.
Okay.
Where you looked it up on your Kelley Blue Book online.
Okay.
And then come back.
Okay.
Great.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Her story's beginning to look a lot better. It was beginning to look lousy in the beginning of this case. Now it's beginning to look a lot better. Got it?
Yes.
Okay. So let's you and I not play with each other.
Right.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Devin Calitri says Clinton Duncan owes for a Ford Expedition she sold him and for lost wages. Clinton is countersuing for a signed title to the vehicle.
Okay, got it for me?
I do, Your Honor.
I'd like to take a look at it.
And I did it in private sale to in good condition, which is the second to the lowest rating you could put on the car.
Your Blue Book value, Kelley Blue Book official guide. Could I see yours, Bird? 1999 Ford. What kind of car was
model?
Ford Expedition. Well, you know, they have an auction, very good, $825 to $950 if you bought it at auction. But then the retail value is $25.75. She's absolutely right. Got it? Okay, now you can take this down.
Thank you.
$25.75. Okay, she says she sold it to you for $1,800. You gave her $1,000 down. You were supposed to pay off the rest in 8 payments. You made 2 payments. That's what she says. Her story's beginning to look a lot better. It was beginning to look lousy in the beginning of this case. Now it's beginning to look a lot better. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's you and I not play with each other.
All right.
Good?
Good.
So you paid her $200 of the $800 that you owed her, and then you stopped paying. You want to tell me why?
Yes, Your Honor. The four-wheel drive was inoperable.
The what?
The four-wheel drive was inoperable.
Okay, so now we come down to it. So you stopped paying her. You paid her $200. You were driving the car. You paid her $200 over several months, correct?
Well, I paid her the $200 for the taxes and transfer, but it wasn't toward the vehicle.
Yes, it was. What do you pay her taxes and transfer? You don't pay her taxes. She's not transferring it. You're transferring it. Pay your own taxes and transfer. Now, you paid her the $1,000 on what date, Mr. Duncan? Picked up the car?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that the date she gave you the title?
Yes, Your Honor.
And she trusted you to make the payments?
I didn't make a payment. I think I gave it to her then. I think.
You what?
I paid it to her then. I'm pretty sure.
Through what?
I don't have the dates.
You think I have a little bit of a hearing problem. You're muttering. Do you think that between the two of these we're not going to get to the bottom of this?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Do you not recall that either?
No, Your Honor.
You know, unless I get the truth from you, you're not going to get a signed over title. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Hope you have a nice bathroom where you can wallpaper that thing. You want to start again?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Devin Calitri says Clinton Duncan owes for a Ford Expedition she sold him and for lost wages. Clinton is countersuing for a signed title to the vehicle.
Now, you started to have mechanical problems with the car, so you stopped paying her.
Well, it had mechanical problems when I took possession of it.
Who cares? That's your problem. When did he make his first payment?
He made his first payment on May the 10th of 2016. He paid $100 in cash to actually our mutual friend that had arranged the sale of the car.
He paid
$100 cash.
Who did he give the cash to?
Our mutual friend, Kevin.
Name?
Kevin.
Kevin, no, but it's very easy to figure out. You know Kevin?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that the mutual friend through whom you found out she was selling the car?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you give Kevin for $100 on or about May 10th to give her? That's very easy. I call Kevin. Did you give Kevin $100?
Not that I recall, Your Honor. I don't have
Now,
any
that's
records.
better. Not that I recall is better. Now, do you not recall another $100 payment?
No, Your Honor. I assume
When
we
was
were
the next
done.
payment?
June the 15th of 2016, he gave Kevin a $100 Visa gift card to give to me.
Do you not recall that either?
No, Your Honor.
Don't recall it. You know, unless I get the truth from you, you're not going to get a signed over title. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
You want to start again?
I assumed that we were done when the title was signed over to me, and that was it.
Well, you have a counterclaim. You want her to sign the title over to you correctly.
Yes, Your Honor.
I can either order her or I can not order her to do that. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now we're going to start again. Do you remember giving Kevin a Visa on June 15th?
No, Your Honor. I do not.
Well, I hope you have a nice bathroom where you can wallpaper that thing. Was that the last payment that you got from him?
Yes, Your Honor. And I do have text messages of him promising to send future payments that never arrived.
I'd like to see.
I can tell you the date that the messages were on. On April the 20th, I asked him if he's filed the title, and he said he had not had time, and he requests my address because he's going to send a payment to me. On 4/28, I followed up with him and asked him if he'd mailed anything to me yet because I had not received anything.
See, this is the problem.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
You're entitled to your money. You're entitled to your $600. Unless you sign the title over properly, you're going to remain liable for this car. You don't want to do that, right?
I do not, Your Honor.
So my suggestion is that you sign the title over to him, give the title to Bird, and he's not going to get the title back or any other fees back until there's proof that he is registering the car. Do you understand?
I do, Your Honor.
Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because now this has been going on for quite some time. When, for the first time, did you go and try to register the car?
I'm not 100% sure of the date, but when I went down there, I couldn't get it transferred.
I don't care. You picked up the car on the 22nd of DMV, and that would be the date that you would contact her and say, I can't register this car.
We met each other down there, Your Honor.
And
something happened. We couldn't get it done that day, so then it was mailed to me and not completely filled out, and I couldn't transfer it then either, so it needed more signatures.
Whose signature? Hers.
Yes.
Okay. I would sign over the title to him.
I have no problem doing that, Your Honor.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $600.
Your Honor, wait, I did have a claim also for...
I know, you had a claim for your time.
I do, and Your Honor, the defendant lives almost 4 hours away from me, and I had received word from a mutual friend that he was not in town on weekends, so I had to take 2 days off work to go there to repossess
I'm not
the
giving you any more money. $600 is what he owes you. Sign the title in the right place. We're done.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Of course, I'm pleased with her decision, as it was the right thing to do.
I've got a $3,000 estimate for the four-wheel drive to be repaired, and that's the main reason I bought the vehicle.
I just feel bad. I tried to help a friend out, and he let me down.
She lives 4 or 5 hours away from me, and
I actually had the car inspected before I sold it, and I had a full mechanical write-up of it.
I just went on her word. Probably not the best decision in the world.
Because I hadn't decided if I wanted to get rid of the car or purchase a new car myself.
Get them inspected first.
Okay.
Patient presents to the emergency room tonight for a burn. Patient is on PCP. You are so high on drugs that you were in an altered state.
Did substance abuse cloud her memory?
It is your claim that she came into the bedroom while you were sleeping and poured boiling water on you.
Yes, correct.
I want you to tell me your story.
Judge Judy.
No, don't say me Judge Judy. I know who I am. You're lucky you're not doing 10 years.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Kylie Jones is suing her former roommate, Octavia Canby, for medical bills resulting from an assault.
Order. All rise.
It's case number 279 on the calendar in the matter of Jones versus Canby.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Miss Jones, were you and Miss Canby roommates?
Yes.
From when to when?
From May to about July.
Of this year?
Of 2015.
Did you live in her apartment or did she live in yours?
No, I was living in actually Vanita's apartment, which is...
And with them?
No, that's my sister, and I was living there.
So it's her apartment, the two of you were living together, and you moved in?
Yes.
As a roommate? Okay. And it is your claim that she came into the bedroom while you were sleeping and poured boiling water on you?
Yes, correct.
Do you have a police report?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to take a look at it. So this indicates that officers responded to the scene, that burns were caused by hot water that Miss Canby had allegedly thrown at Miss Jones. It seems that all three females had been smoking dust for most of the night. It is unclear what had occurred in the apartment because the females were too high on dust to speak. In any case, Joan was transported to St. Francis Hospital. So is it accurate that the three of you were doing drugs that night?
No. Your Honor,
well,
it's not.
Is there any reason why you think that this officer would write this?
Yeah, the officer is a Fugazi officer.
Is a what?
Fugazi officer.
This is Hartford Police Department.
Yeah. He's Fugazi. Why would she not be arrested for this, Your Honor?
The person who filled out this form is a police officer in the Hartford Police Department. He's not a fake. Now, you have your medical records?
Yes, I
from
do.
the 13th? I'd like to take a look at them, including the admission records. And then I'll get the story, both of the stories. Okay, listen, you admitted to the doctor who admitted you to the hospital that all of you were smoking PCP that night. You said a young female evaluated as a core trauma. Patient states she smoked PCP with a friend this evening. Friend later accused her of stealing her laptop. Patient was sleeping without wearing any clothes and reports friend dumped a pot of boiling water on her. Patient found outside the complex wearing a hospital gown. Patient reports PCP and marijuana today. That's what you told the doctor.
No, that's not what I told the
So
doctor.
you mean the police officer got it wrong and the doctor who admitted you to the hospital got it wrong? So both?
Your
So
Honor.
there's a fake police officer? I'm not suggesting that this incident didn't happen.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure out what happened that night.
Well, I would like to tell you what happened.
First, I have to make myself clear that you had a head to even remember what happened.
Okay.
Did you accuse her of stealing a laptop?
She did. She stole my laptop and she stole my clothes. She was stealing from me in my sister's house.
She was stealing for you while she was living in the house, in your sister's house with you. And is that an argument that you had that evening on the 13th?
And I don't do drugs, Your Honor.
Just a second. Is that an argument that you had that evening?
That's not true, Your Honor.
Let me read to you, and I'm going to let you tell your story, but these medical records of that night are very telling to me. These are the doctors who examined you. Patient presents to the emergency room tonight for a burn. Patient is on PCP and is quite altered. She is a very unreliable historian. She reports that someone dumped a pot of boiling water onto her lap. Patient reports at times that this occurred, she was wearing no clothes. Patient presents to the emergency room wearing a hospital Johnny. She cannot tell me why she is wearing this. Patient has sustained second-degree burns covering approximately 9% of her body's surface. It involves her upper thighs and inner thighs. Her groin specifically has significant edema, blistered. Patient has been given IV fluids. Okay. Let me tell you first, Miss Canby, that the only thing that she's consistent about in these reports, even in her altered state, is that you poured boiling water on her. Now, if she was the only one that was high in the house, I don't know. So I want, before she tells me her story, before I finish the medical records and see if your story is consistent with that, I want you to tell me, listen to me carefully, your story about what happened on July the 13th. Go.
Judge Judy.
No, don't say me Judge Judy. I know who I am.
Okay. That is totally not what happened.
Just a second. I want you to tell me what happened.
When I came home from school, she was in the house. She wasn't supposed to be there. She didn't pay my sister her portion of the rent. So we was in the kitchen, and I'm like, Kylie, what are you doing in the house? You're not supposed to be here. You didn't pay my sister the portion of the rent. She was boiling water for coffee that she was drinking, and the handle was out on the stove. She was not laying down or anything.
No, don't tell me what she wasn't. I'm reading the medical records. I want you to tell me what happened. So she was boiling water on the stove.
We was in the kitchen, and then we got into the handle was sticking out from the pot of water, and the water came all down here on her.
That's not true.
Not consistent with the medical records, your story. I read what you said in the answer. But the medical records, what the doctors observed of where the injuries were on her inner thigh are totally inconsistent with this story that you just told me of water being spilled. If it's spilled, it's on the outer section of your thigh. Unless she was standing with her legs gesprayt. Totally gesprayt boiling water. Do you understand? So the story that you give me is a whole lot of who shot John. Yes, it is. It's a whole lot of who shot John. And the reason, it wasn't a fake police officer.
It was.
Because what you say is you were lying in bed naked and she came in and poured scalding water on you. The medical records...
I said he was fugazi because he did not arrest her.
Listen to me. I don't know what you're on now. I don't care. I don't care. The reason that they didn't arrest her, that doesn't mean he's a fake cop, is because you were so high that night that when they asked her what happened, she gave this cockamamie story, and because you were so high, they said, she tells me, she's looking at me like a basset hound with those eyes that say, I'm telling you the truth. That's the way she spoke to the cop, and that's why she wasn't arrested. I don't believe her, because the cop certainly didn't look at these medical records, because the medical records are totally inconsistent with this baloney story you just told me.
She wasn't even in the apartment when the cops showed up. She had fled the scene when the cops showed up.
The reason that they didn't take you seriously is because you were so high on drugs that you were in an altered state. Do you understand?
No.
That doesn't mean she didn't do it.
Okay.
I'm telling you that the reason that the police didn't take you seriously was because you were on another planet. Do you understand? That doesn't excuse her behavior. But you asked me a question. You said he's a fake cop. He's not a fake cop. He couldn't get anything from you, neither could the doctor, because according to the doctor who examined you, you were so high and in such an altered state, he couldn't get a history. The only thing that you were able to tell him was that somebody poured boiling water on you. And the medical records are totally consistent with that, partially to blame for the fact that they didn't arrest her. Do you understand? How old are you?
I'm 36.
Why don't you go into rehab?
I did.
For how long?
For about 2 months.
Didn't work. You know, you're lucky you're not doing 10 years.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you're lucky you're not doing 10 years. Because if somebody put this all together, and if it wasn't for the fact that they found lots of drug people on the night of the 13th, which is what you say, we were all smoking at night. I mean, every single page says, from every different doctor who examined you, it says disoriented and high on PCP, uncooperative in substance abuse, flat affect. That's why. What she did was terrible.
Yeah.
What she did was terrible.
Yeah.
They didn't take you seriously.
Yeah.
And that is not an excuse for them. But part of the reason they didn't take you seriously is because you were your own worst enemy.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
That's it. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. We're done here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Others are excused. You may step out.
Because I'm scarred for life.
She was so high out of her mind, she don't even know what happened.
Well, I wasn't smoking PCP that night. I was smoking marijuana. That's why I fell asleep.
She don't even remember that she bumped into her on Kylie.
And oh my God, I'm an emotional wreck.
I love my sister always. Blood is thicker than water. I will always love my sister.
We all used it. We all used it. So, there you go.
I advise them to get off the drugs and know what the heck is going on in their lives.
We're going to stop it. We're going to try to stop the PCP use and marijuana use and everything.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Ponce versus Nunez step forward.
21-year-old Kevin Ponce is suing his ex-roommate, Ida Nunez, for the return of belongings she stole from him.
Mr. Ponce, you were looking for a roommate and put an ad on Craigslist, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Nunez needed a place to live. You have some children?
Yes, ma'am.
How many?
2.
You answered the ad and you took a room in his, is it a house, a condo?
It's an apartment.
You and your 2 children moved in with him. What was the rent?
$500 a month.
When did you move in?
July.
When did you move out?
July 15th. That's a lie.
You paid him the $500?
I did.
You moved out July 15th. You want to tell me why?
Because of marijuana and alcohol abuse in the house. That's a lie, too, Your Honor.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
If they're not going to tell him, time is wasted.
Well, I would like to let you know that when I did leave Washington State, I moved in with my mother.
You're a fibber!
I'm a what?
Fibber!
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Kevin Ponce says ex-roommate Ida Nunez stole his belongings when she moved out.
I'll tell you what the case is about so that we understand what the case is about. You claim that when she moved out, she took property that belonged to you.
Yes, ma'am.
You know that she took property that belonged to you because she saw some of the property in her house. She said she didn't take any property that belongs to you. Tell me when she moved out.
She moved out without my knowledge.
I need a date.
Yes, ma'am. July 12th.
Now, she gave you $500. That was the month's rent for July.
I would like to say that she moved in May 13th, 2016.
May?
Yes, ma'am.
Not July.
Not July.
Is that right?
No.
How many times did she pay you rent?
2 times. For May and June.
Where were you living in May?
I was in Seattle, Washington.
With whom?
Samantha Merritt and my 2 children.
Where were you living in Seattle, Washington in May?
I was living in downtown Seattle.
Give me the address and the landlord's name and number.
It's Metropolitan Park. The address is 502.
Was it your apartment or hers?
It was my apartment.
No. It must be in your phone. This is a current thing. I want the person who you paid your rent to who's going to tell me that you were living there in May.
It's not a landlord. It's an actual apartment complex.
Well, that's all right. You have to pay rent to somebody.
Right. Metropolitan Park.
Right, but there's an office.
Yes, there is.
Great. I want the number.
I have to look it up.
That's fine.
Okay.
But don't waste my time.
I'm not.
Miss Nunez, if they're not going to tell me that you were there in May and June, I hate when my time is wasted.
Well, I would like to let you know that when I did
Just
move...
a second.
Okay.
I don't like to have my time wasted. If you were there, and all they will do is verify that you were a tenant there in May and June, then we'll move on. Then I'll know that he was telling me a fib that you moved in May.
If I may. When I did leave Washington State, I moved in with my mother.
You're a fibber.
I'm a what?
Fibber.
Okay.
Liar.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, so you moved in May.
Okay. I have the phone number.
Well, what difference does it make? You weren't living there. I asked
liar.
you where you were living. You told me that's where you were living. When I was going to call
Prior
you,
to
said,
moving
well,
in with him?
wasn't
Yes.
really living there. I was living with my mother.
Only for a month.
What month?
June.
Clearly, she's a liar, Your Honor.
I know. I know she is.
Continues in a moment.
You know, I know you took his property because he never came to your job until after his property was taken. That's what that is going to show me. I mean, you're just not smart. You're not only a thief, you're not a very smart thief.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Kevin Ponce says ex-roommate Ida Nunez stole his belongings when she moved out.
Now, where did you go when you moved out July 15th?
Tampa, Florida.
And where do you live?
Right now, I live in a
No,
different...
where was she renting a room? In what state?
This is in Florida, Orlando, Florida.
Why did you move to Tampa?
Because that's my hometown.
Your Honor, that's a lie, too. I just... Okay.
Don't speak. Who did you move in with in Tampa?
Family.
Who?
My mother.
When she moved out, you claim she took a whole bunch of your property. What did she take?
She took my TVs, my Xbox console, my bag full of electronics.
You have a police report?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to take a look at it.
Absolutely.
Your name's Samantha?
Tampa?
No.
She's the accomplice. She's the...
Shh.
Nobody asked you.
Okay. You say she moved out on the 12th?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you at home at any time on the 12th?
No, ma'am. I left at 3 p.m. to go to work.
On the 12th? So you were at home before 3 p.m.?
Yes, ma'am. I was home. Sorry.
And when you left, you had a mattress on your bed?
Yes, ma'am.
And all of your electronics were there?
Yes.
And what time did you return from work?
I get out at 11. I got home at 11:30.
And when you got home at 11:30, is that when you found all these items missing?
Yes, ma'am.
And when did you call the police?
Right away.
And that's when they responded with this?
Yes.
Now, you didn't move in with your mother right away when you left his house, right? Because it's a far distance. I am a Floridian, so I know that it's not a commute from Tampa to Orlando, where your mother lives. So your job. So if you were still at your job, where were you living when you left the plaintiff's apartment?
I actually wasn't. I actually...
Speak. Don't. Where were you living after you left the plaintiff's apartment?
I moved to Tampa, Florida.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
And you commuted to work?
No, I did not. I was actually laid off due to harassment.
You say that to me.
I have a trespass.
Listen to me carefully.
Go ahead.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by...
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, I know you took his property. I know you took his property. There is no question in my mind that you and your girlfriend took his property because he never came to your job until after his property was taken. Exactly. That's what that is going to show me. I mean, you're just not smart. You're not only a thief, you're not a very smart thief. So you claim that he came to your job after you moved out and after his property was taken. And I'm asking you, if you were still at the same job, where were you living? You weren't living with your mother because your mother lives in Tampa. You lived in Orlando.
You keep saying I lived in Orlando and I worked in Orlando. I'm telling you I did not.
She did. She worked at Ingenuity. I called the place and talked to her.
Just a second.
Go ahead.
You say that in your answer.
Right. And he harassed me there.
I don't care whether he harassed you or not. He
immediately
wanted his
get out of
stuff
his
back.
apartment and
Judgment for
move.
the plaintiff in the amount of $3,600. Your counterclaim's dismissed. You're a
Sounds
thief.
great.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
She was normal, but obviously at the end of the day, her true colors came out, and she's a thief.
That never happened, and I had proof that it didn't happen.
My backpack full of electronics was in her car.
My backpack?
The day after the incident happened.
He can say all he wants. He can say all my stuff is his.
Horrible. It's horrible. No one deserves to go through what I went through.
Was she able to pay her rent?
No, she could not make a monthly payments.
A single mom in a hot mess.
This person who had no cash paid for renter's insurance. And lo and behold, there was some sort of fiery smoke that damaged a whole bunch of your property.
And many burning questions remain.
With no report to a fire department? Doesn't sound right to me. This is a world-class scam.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Lisa Hankins is suing her former landlords, Shannon and Laura Lastinger, for stealing insurance money.
Order. All rise.
Of Hankins versus Lastinger.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Fred, would you take the child outside,
Sure.
please?
Would you come with me, please?
Miss Hankins, who is this?
Matthew Lopez. He is my witness. He is now my roommate.
He's your witness to what?
Well, to an entire month in the apartment.
A what? Speak up.
He watched me in a fire damage, helped with the damage, and then also helped move me out.
Mm-hmm. What kind of premises did you rent to the plaintiff?
It's a small studio apartment that was attached to an extra building on our church property that we had remodeled just for her and her daughter.
How long do you know her?
At least 6+ years.
And when you say you remodeled a studio on church property, what do you have to do with the church property?
Our church, we have 70 acres of land, so we had an extra building that we used as a garage, also for our youth, a man cave, and so there was a section that we converted into a very nice studio apartment that I had planned to make that arrangement later when we were hoping to get a groundskeeper. It came up when Lisa was needing a place to stay.
How did you know she was needing a place to stay?
She was living with her parents, and she was complaining weekly to us about the condition.
What she was doing for a living?
Working at Family Dollar.
Do you know what she was doing there?
She started out as a cashier clerk, and then since the last year or so, she was promoted to assistant manager.
When did she move into this studio that you renovated for her?
She would have moved in February of 2015.
And were you charging her rent?
Yes.
How much?
$500 a month.
Was she able to pay her rent?
No, she could not make a monthly payment, so the arrangement we had came to that when she got her tax check, she had $5,000 for 2015. So she gave the entire $5,000 and prepaid her rent for the first 10 months of the year, which allowed us to do the work to make the apartment livable. And so she gave the $5,000, we fixed it up, she moved in, she had no rent for 10 months. And then at the next year, February 2016, when she got her tax, she was to catch up what she was behind and pay as much in advance as she could for the next year.
So when did she give you the tax check?
Soon as she got
Month and year?
February 2015, and then again February 2016. And she paid in cash, Your Honor.
She paid what in cash?
Her rent, when she gave the $5,000, she gave $5,000 in cash.
And she did all of this because she didn't have money. She had herself and her daughter, so she didn't have money to pay you rent. So she waited to get her tax check, and she got her tax check, and she went to give to you.
To the church.
It gets better. This person who had no cash took out renter's insurance, had no money to pay her rent, paid renter's insurance, and lo and behold, there was some sort of fiery smoke that damaged a whole bunch of your property. And I want you to tell me when this fiery smoke was.
Well, I report...
Just a second.
Oh, go ahead.
Month and year.
It would have been, it was reported to insurance December 15th of 2016.
Is when there was a fire. That's when your $5,000 rent ran out that you had prepaid the February before. So then you were up to January, right? And then you would have to have paid another $5,000, right? Because she wasn't paying any rent. She was just giving you every February $5,000 in cash when she got her tax refund. Is that right?
Correct.
Now, what I would like to see is when you first took out and paid for renter's insurance, month and year. Don't look confused. It's a very simple question. I want to see when you took out the rent insurance policy, because if somebody had years, you would have taken the renter's insurance out for several years, right? So now I want to see the policy when it started.
Well... Okay, now I do not have the starting date of...
Oh, well, we're going to get that.
Yes.
We're going to get the date that your policy started, the date that you applied for renter's insurance.
December.
Let's start with the year.
2016.
So you didn't have renter's insurance in 2015 when you lived there? No. You got renter's insurance in 2016.
Correct.
Right. Did you get it in the beginning of 2016 or the end of 2016?
Truly, it was probably in October when I changed to insurance companies.
In October or November, right before this smoke damaged your property. Now, do you have an arson report?
No.
Do you have a fire damage report?
We brought in a restoration company which hired.
That's not what I'm asking you, sir. When you have a suspicious, because you don't know where it started, right?
Yes.
So you would have to call in the fire department and find out where all this started. Do you have a report?
My insurance company sent the fire inspector.
Listen to me. This is a world-class scam. If the insurance company paid you for stupid, because I read this thing before I even looked at you folks and asked one question, I said to myself, I betcha this lady didn't have insurance until right before there was damage. That would be you.
That is correct.
Right. And here's a lady that didn't have money to pay rent. So what she did, according to this one, who was probably a co-conspirator in this whole thing, is she paid him in cash, allegedly, from her income tax return. So she's paid up for 2015. She's paid up for 2016. But in February of 2017, she has to give him another $5,000 or start paying rent. So you know what happened? She took out renter's insurance a month before she had thousands of dollars worth of smoke damage to her property. Does that sound right to you? No. Doesn't sound right to me. So we're going to find out exactly when you took out the renter's insurance. And I would like to see the reports that you filed with the insurance company.
Okay, I have all of these.
And how much money did you get?
There was 2 claims. The church has a policy that covers all of our property and our buildings. And so
but you didn't have any damage to the church.
It was her renters covered her furniture, her appliances, her dishes, her clothes. The structure policy.
And with just a second, with no report to a fire department, she had all that damage. And what did the church suffer? Sir, in what location did the church suffer damage?
In that location, that apartment.
Just a second. Only in her apartment?
Correct.
Not any place else?
Correct.
Yeah, good. Do me a favor. Go fight with each other someplace else. Not here. I don't believe it. I don't buy it. I think it's a huge scam.
Amen.
I'm not sure whether you were both involved in it, but I know the insurance company got taken for a ride, because how much money did they give you?
$12,000.
Ah! Oh. Gone. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Now I have to go and replace all my stuff, and I have nowhere to live.
All the work she's claiming, the money, was for her personal items.
No, I am not thankful. I am absolutely furious.
We were just looking for things to be worked out, but God knows the truth, and so we're okay. We're happy.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of McGrew, Barberis versus Niles. Step forward.
Dennis McGrew is suing Morgan Max Niles for unauthorized use of his money.
Where's Nancy? You have a cabin.
He doesn't hear well. You have a cabin. This is regarding the cabin.
Are you his mate?
Yes.
Okay, well, then let me deal with you.
Okay.
Mr. McGrew has a cabin, and he wanted to remodel the cabin. The two of you decided to hire the defendant to do that. You gave him 2 credit cards, one from a fix-it shop and one from a Home Depot. You also asked him to take your son with him when he went up to the cabin. Is that correct?
Grandson.
It's a grandson.
Yes, ma'am.
So he took your grandson with not only your approval, but you thought it would be a good idea, whether you asked him or not. Okay. He went up to the cabin. The claim is that he misused the credit cards. He has a counterclaim. He said he did most of the work that was done, and you owe him for the work that he did on the cabin. What was the contract price that you made with him for doing the cabin?
I'm so glad you asked.
Just answer my question.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Is that the way you left it?
Yes, there was the reason why I left it that way, because she kicked me off the job due to the fact that I brought her grandson's girlfriend, and she despises her because she's a dictator.
I don't care about that. Does this face look like Phil's?
No.
Real cases, real people.
Morgan Max Niles owes for unauthorized use of his money regarding the renovation of a cabin.
Just answer. I said, what's the contract price?
There was no agreement. He was to go up there and get an idea, communicate back, and give us a proposal. That never happened.
That's not true.
Yeah, that doesn't sound right to me at all.
At all.
At all, because he went up there, you gave him the credit cards in order to do that, and according to Mr. McGrew, transferred $1,700 to vendors. Well, that wasn't done with the intention of him coming back to give you a proposal. If that's the case, then you had no contract with him. Then if you gave him the credit cards, you gave him the credit cards. Whatever he spent on the credit cards was his. So let's not play cute with each other. Do you understand?
I understand, and I disagree.
Well, then, if you didn't have a contract with him, he says that the work he did for you in his counterclaim was $3,500 for work completed and not paid for. And if you didn't pay him, and if you didn't have a contract, then we apply the rules of quantum merit, which means he gets what he can show me he did in the cabin. And if he was there for a week, and if he hauled loads of trash, and if he painted part of the cabin, then he's going to get paid. Do you understand?
Oh, I understand.
Great. Now, the only thing that I'm actually interested in with regard to the credit cards, because you gave him credit cards to use. Do you understand? Good. But there is an allegation here, Mr. Niles, that you bought merchandise at Home Depot. You returned that merchandise, and instead of crediting it back to the Home Depot credit card, you took it in cash cards and put it in your pocket.
That is not true, Your Honor.
Did you return merchandise to Home Depot?
Yes, I did.
Did you have them credit the credit card?
Yes, I did.
Great.
That's the only way to get credit. Back on the card that you purchased the items with.
Fine.
Went right back on the card.
So now that's what I'm interested in with the credit card. So now you show me where he returned the items, which he said he did, and got cash cards for it instead of putting it back on your credit card.
Can I share with you?
No, what you could do is show me exactly what I asked for, which is proof that he returned items to Home Depot, and instead of getting credit, he got cash cards, and if he got cash cards, I will assume that he put them in his pocket. Do you have that proof?
I will have to defer to Erica. She's got all the
Fine. Erica is who?
I paid $6,000 worth of bills. She's got the receipts.
Listen, I don't care. That's all I want.
We did have a contract, Your Honor.
No, we did not.
There's a written contract with the Do It.
Would you please just show me what I asked you for?
Yes.
And let's do it quickly. All I want to see is where he returned items to Home Depot and got cash cards.
There is none because I didn't do that.
Just a second. If she doesn't have it, she doesn't have it.
Yes.
There's one of them.
Or did you have her circle what she wants me to look at there?
Some of the returns right there.
The returns and credit card.
It's got the credit. It's the credit card with the credit.
May I see it?
With the credit. But then it says, if you look at it, it says payment reversals. They gave the payment back, but it didn't go to the card.
Can I see what she's talking about? I actually don't see what you're talking about here. So far, I haven't seen anything that suggests that he returned items and got, in effect, cash for it.
It was the Do It Center.
Your complaint, which he has to answer, says he charged several purchases on the Home Depot card, immediately returned them, and was given the return balance on a gift card instead of having the balance go back on the credit card. That's all I want to see proof of.
I don't
have that. Fine.
No, what you're saying is that's not what we submitted. It was the Do It Center we had a contract with.
It's not.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
They have no proof that what you did was return items and pocket the cash.
He spent $5,000 on groceries and gas and tools, etc., etc. I know you don't care, but I said it.
I don't.
I got it out.
Care.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Dennis McGrew claims Morgan Max Niles owes for unauthorized use of his money regarding the renovation of a cabin.
Now, you have an awful lot of paperwork there, but it's not happening for you. Can I see photographs of the cabin inside now?
She has photos. I have no photographs.
Why not?
The work I did. Well, I took pictures, but I don't know why they didn't come through on my telephone.
I'm going to say to you what I said to them.
I do have a witness that has and was there that's seen the work.
Just a second. I don't want a witness that's going to describe it to me. I want to see photographs. Do you have
No,
the
I don't have any photographs.
Does the witness have photographs?
No.
Okay, then I'm not interested. What's wrong with these pictures?
There's a couple of pictures after we finished it, or we did the work.
No,
and there's
what
a
I
couple
want
of
to
pictures
see,
prior.
What I want to see is the work that you're complaining about that he didn't finish.
Right here.
There it is. He didn't do that.
Let me see.
We did that. I don't have pictures of anything he did. I only have pictures of the way
it was left.
Correct.
Yes.
After he left there with your
Correct.
grandson.
Correct. And a couple of those pictures is the work that we're doing.
Shh. Is that the way you left it?
Yes, there was the reason why I left it that way, because she kicked me off the job due to the fact that I had somebody up there, brought somebody up with her grandson's girlfriend, and she despises her because she's a dictator, and she wants to tell you who could be around and whatnot.
I don't care about that. Does this face look like Phil's?
No.
I don't care about that.
But that's why...
I don't care about that.
That's why it was left.
You don't have any proof for me of what work you did in the cabin to support your counterclaim for $3,500.
The only proof I have is a witness that was there with me doing the work.
You mean you're talking about her grandson?
Yes.
Who she sent there because, allegedly, according to you, he had a drug problem.
Yes.
And he thought it would be good for him.
Yes.
Right. And he went up there and he said to you, can I bring my girlfriend with me?
Yes.
And you said, okay.
Yes.
Well, and how old is he?
He's 23.
You don't get paid for that. You don't get paid for this, sir.
Yeah,
because according to your counterclaim.
I understand that, but the pile was 3 times as big as that.
According to your counterclaim,
I took
you
6
cleaned
loads
out.
to the dump.
According to your you took what?
6 loads to the dump, and those were loads going to the backyard,
to know,
the side yard, the front yard.
All I want to know from you, Mr. Niles, is they have no case because they have no proof that what you did was return items and pocket the cash. You said deal with her. I was dealing with her.
Oh, that's only on the return items. He spent $5,000 on groceries and gas and handyman stuff and tools, etc., etc.
And I gave her all the receipts.
My
everything
Citibank
that I
card
spent her money
was $1,861, not counting the $17 cash because you can't use credit in Big Bear, and $2,125 for Home Depot.
I don't care.
I know you don't care, but I said it.
I don't.
I got it out.
I don't care.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, all I care about is when you give somebody a credit card and say, here's the credit card from Home Depot. You don't have a credit limit. You don't tell them what to do. You say, go and get what you need, do what you need, and he does it. That's your problem.
But if you say to me many times before, and I gave him credit cards, he gave me a proposal, and he was going to go up there in case we come to an agreement. He was going to these places to get estimates to put the proposal together.
We're done unless you can show me where he returned merchandise and pocketed the cash. Can you do that?
I cannot do that.
Then we're done. Thank you.
What about my countersuit on this?
Did you see a picture of what you left?
No, I didn't have any pictures. But the work was done.
Bird.
I have a witness.
Picture.
Okay.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
He just went hog wild with my credit cards.
She is senile.
Yeah, I kept getting these phone calls and these alerts saying, my goodness, somebody's on a spending spree.
She gave me her cards to go do a job. I've been her carpenter for a year and a half or so.
$5,000 worth of theft.
Everything's all good.
You knew that you were behind in payments on the car.
I knew I owed to some.
Right.
This repo man was just doing his job.
He had authorization to take your car.
He never identified who he was.
The side of his truck says Northwest Recovery.
But he had more than the car in tow.
He stood on the running board. I put the vehicle on drive, and he grabbed onto the steering wheel, and then we had smacked into a car.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Tommy Burns is suing tow truck driver Edward Kimball for vandalism to his car and false charges of assault.
Order. All rise. Yeah, it's case number 318 on the calendar in the matter of Burns versus Kimball. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Mr. Burns, this is your complaint. You had purchased a car.
Yes.
You were behind in the payments.
Yes.
Mr. Kimball owns a tow truck, and it is his job on behalf of lending institutions to repossess property that has not been paid for. So your car was parked either on the street or in your house.
Yes, in front of my house.
And this was September 25th last year. Neighbor came to you in your house and said, someone's taking your car. You got outside and you saw Mr. Kimball in his tow truck down the street with your car attached.
No.
Tell me where you saw his car.
I observed Mr. Kimball at the end, like a block away on the passenger side of my car, removing items. At the same time, I was talking to the police when the neighbor had came and got me. I live in a high-crime neighborhood area, and first thing she said is that it rolled off.
So the car was attached to the tow truck?
Yes.
That's what I said.
Yes.
Now, at the time, you knew that you were behind in payments on the car.
Actually, I had spoken with the guy who...
At the time, you were behind in payments on the car. You acknowledge it.
Yes,
here.
I knew I owed to something.
Right. So an intelligent man would know that if you were behind in payments on the car, they may come and get it. Not definitely, but they may come and get it. Well, that was what he was hired for. Who hired you to do this job?
Northwest Repossession.
Do you know who hired Northwest Repossession?
The company would be Quality Auto Sales.
Did you buy your car at Quality Auto Sales?
Yes.
Well, they're the people that hired his company to get their property back. So tell me what you did.
Okay, when I observed Mr. Kimball at the end of the block removing items, I caught him on the passenger side of my car. At the same time, I was talking to 911 because I figured my car was being stolen. I had spoke to the person who I previously bought the car from, and everything was fine.
I don't believe that, and you don't have that person here.
Okay.
Okay, because the person that you bought the car from hired his company to repossess your car.
Okay, at the same time...
Okay. So now,
no.
Just tell me what you did.
Okay, I talked to the police. I asked him who was he. He never identified who he was.
Just a second. I block where he was.
No, we drove to the end of the block, and I observed him.
Who drove?
My wife did.
So your wife drove in her car?
Yes.
To the end of the block, and then what did you do?
I was on the phone with 911, and I told them that I see the guy right there.
Just a second. I didn't ask you what you told anybody.
Okay, I
said,
didn't do
what
anything. I approached him and asked him who was he.
Just a second. So you approached him?
Yes.
Where was he when you approached him?
The passenger side of the car.
And what did he say to you?
He didn't say anything. He just got up and ran around to the driver's side of the tow truck. And by me living in a high-crime neighborhood area, if he would have told me who he was, the situation would have been ended. He didn't identify himself or who he was or who had sent him. It's normally known in my neighborhood. I just live in Chicago. High-crime area, and they known for taking cars on tow trucks and driving off. You never find your car again. I asked him who was he. He never identified himself in a professional manner. So I proceeded to talk to the police. I'm like, he right here. He tried to run around and jump in the car. When he jumped in the tow truck, he tried to close the door, and I'm like, he never identified. I'm like, who are you? I'm steady asking him, who is he? He never said anything. So I'm telling the police, next thing I know, he put the truck in drive and almost hit me with the tow truck, so I had to grab on to the handle. It's a safety bar on the side of the tow truck. When he drove off, like in a high rate of speed. So I wasn't finna deal if he would identify himself.
I know that you said that already. What I'm hearing is, and reading,
yes,
that you wrote, you jumped on the sideboard.
Yes.
Okay, you jumped on the sideboard and held onto the sideboard.
Yes.
And he was driving off.
Yes.
At a high rate of speed.
Yes.
And then what happened?
He veered on the south side of the street, crashing into some parked cars with me stuck in between the doors.
Now you tell me your version, because we'll get to what the lawsuit is about, because he filed charges against you for assault.
Yes.
You say that they were false. Now he's going to tell me his version of the events. Go.
Hi, Your Honor.
Okay, you were hired, that's your job, to repossess property that hasn't been paid for.
Correct.
You got an order to pick up his car.
Correct.
Start from there.
Okay, so I picked the vehicle up, Your Honor. About 7 blocks away, I secured the vehicle.
How many blocks away from his house?
About 7 blocks.
Go ahead.
So as I was securing the vehicle to my tow truck, Mr. Burns came up to me, and he was very defensive.
Don't tell me what you thought about his posture.
Okay. He asked me, what were you doing? What are you doing?
And what did you say?
I said, sir, your car's up for repossession. He said, the car's not up for repossession. He got aggressive, started coming towards me. I backed up. I kept backing up, and I went in my truck. He said, put the vehicle down before I beat your, excuse my language. I told him I can't put the vehicle down until I put the vehicle on drive because it was already secure. I started driving at a slow speed, and he grabbed onto the steering wheel, and then we had smacked into a car. Prior to this, before he had jumped on a running board, he hit me in my side about 2 or 3 times.
Where was he when he hit you in your side?
He's standing on the running board of the truck.
Okay, so he's standing on the running board of the truck, and you're inside the truck.
Correct, I'm sitting.
And he's standing on the running board.
Correct.
And how did he hit you?
He punched me to the side, so like in my ribs. So if I'm sitting here right now, and he's standing right here, he would hit me in my side.
Where was the car that he drove up in?
I have no idea, Your Honor.
You didn't see a car?
Well, he was parked in the street in the city streets, so every car is parallel parking. There's tons of...
From his house, he said his wife drove him to where you were.
Okay.
Did you see her?
When he approached, there was a female in the car, yes.
Did you see what she was doing as this was going on?
She was just sitting in the vehicle.
Now, when you say you secured the vehicle, what do you have to do to secure the vehicle?
You have to put a safety chain on the vehicle, so the vehicle, when you drive away, it doesn't fall off.
Okay.
So for safety
But you
features,
did, in fact, drive it away a certain...
Yes.
You said a few blocks.
Correct.
How was it attached to the tow truck then?
Well, because when you pick the vehicle up, it has claws, a mechanism that sits where the tires are. So it sits on the tow truck. You can continue to drive away, but highway or something, you know, if the car, if it was to fall off, it's not going to hit somebody or et cetera.
Okay. So then you stopped, when you felt it was safe, you stopped to secure it.
Correct.
Do you have a police report?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to take a look at it. And do you have the work order to pick up the car?
Yes, I do.
I'd also like to take a look at that. Do you have any other police report?
No, this is all they gave me, ma'am.
Do you have any police report?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to see it.
Your Honor, may I say something?
Yes.
Upon the accident, when the police arrived on the scene, I left in the ambulance because I was injured. And when I got there, they signed me out, and they came with that charge that he talking about that I hit him. That's what the officer said. Not the police officer, but the sergeant, because the other officers was like, man, we didn't even have time for this. You know, you should have left the scene. That's what the black officers, they was just saying all type of observed.
Just a second. Don't tell me what anybody said to you,
Okay.
Mr. Burns.
Okay.
You were wrong. You were wrong.
No,
He
ma'am.
had authorization to take, just pay attention.
Okay.
He had authorization to take your car, business, to get on the running board of his truck, to endanger him, other people that may be out there. I know you're shaking your head no. I know you're shaking your head no. Bottom line is, he had the right to have possession of your car. That's what this order says. He had the right to have possession of your car. You had no right to take control of his car by getting on the running board. And because you did that, you caused an accident.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
If someone took your car.
Are you asking me what I would do? Would I say to my husband, jump in the car, we're going to go confront this thief? Would I say that? Not on a good day, not if I took my meds.
And later today,
How much of a deposit did she give to you?
She initially sent $200, and our deposits are $400. Instead of sending another $200, she sent $300. So we received a deposit
Would you just tell me?
of $500 in 2 separate checks.
I don't care whether it was
All right.
she sent it to you in wampum.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Tommy Burns says tow truck driver Edward Kimball vandalized his car during repossession and falsely charged him with assaults and pain and suffering.
Now, he had a lawful order to take possession of your car. You did not have any right to get on his tow truck. You had no right to do that. And when you did it, whether he was injured, whether he was punched, is relevant. But you caused a situation that endangered not only his life, but yours or other people in the street, because what happened was you crashed. And you crashed because of your actions.
No, ma'am.
Well, I say yes, you say no. I'm telling you, that's the law. You had no right to put your feet on the running board of his truck in an attempt to stop him. You had no right to do that. He had a right to take your car, and you had no right to try to take control of that tow truck. You had no right.
Your Honor, can I say something? If the guy would have identified where he came from or let me know who he was, I live in a high-crime neighborhood. If someone's taking your car...
You keep saying that.
Can I just say this? If someone took your car, and then you see them a block away from your home, and you saying,
Are you asking me? Are you asking me what I would do? Would I say to my husband, jump in the car, we're going to go confront this thief? Not on a good day, not if I took my meds. No, you're on the phone with the police. You say, there's a black tow truck that just took my car. Here's my car's license plate. Here's the license plate number of the truck that just took my car. And you let the police do their job. But the bottom line is you can say whatever you want. He had a right to take your car, and you had no right to get on his. And you caused an accident, and you don't get rewarded for that. Were you treated for any injuries?
No, Your Honor.
Do you have pictures of the accident?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to take a look at them.
Also, may I just add one more thing? I was never given an accident report or put in the accident. They never said I caused the accident or anything.
I just told you you caused an accident. You got the ultimate person to tell you that you caused the accident. The side of his truck says Northwest Recovery, Inc. What do you think that means?
I didn't know what
With his license number.
I didn't know what it meant because I wasn't.
Well, let's think of what you know. You know you missed payments. You know what the word recovery means. They're coming to recover their property.
Yes, but if I would have got a letter saying that it was anything, I never received anything saying.
Case is dismissed, sir. You have no proof that any injuries that you allegedly sustained, but you weren't treated for, caused you to miss work?
Yeah.
No, it was court cases, Your Honor. It went to court, and it was continued and continued and continued due to missing...
You have to show me that you weren't paid for those. Weren't you paid for those days you went to court?
No, I was not.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
You have proof that you weren't paid?
No.
We're done here. We're done.
Yeah, parties are excused. You may step out.
If he would have identified himself, it wouldn't even led to that, man.
He knew exactly what I was doing.
Man, I thought he was gonna kill me.
No, I mean, how do you identify yourself? I mean, I'm in a tow truck. A tow truck says recovery.
Man, I wasn't notified.
No, just pay your bills. We won't have to do it.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of St. John versus Stewart, step forward.
Darlene St. John is suing Jan Stewart for the return of her deposit for a Puradoodle puppy.
Miss Stewart, I'm going to start with you. What kind of dogs do you breed?
Puradoodles.
What are they?
Standard Poodle and Great Pyrenees.
When did you take a deposit on a puppy from Miss St. John?
In February of this year.
And you took a deposit for a puppy that at that time was not born?
Yes, we entered into a verbal agreement.
Just a second. You took a deposit on a puppy that was yet to be born?
Your Honor, yes, that's true.
And the gestation period, 3 days. Is that correct?
Gestation is typically 65 to 68 days.
And you took the deposit in February?
Yes.
Just answer my questions. I know exactly where I'm going.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You have to give her money back.
Well, I'm not going to do that. We have a no
you have
refund
to give
policy.
her. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. That's
told
what
her there are no refunds, and
well,
she
that's
will get
too
a
bad.
puppy.
I don't care what you told her. Then you're a scammer.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Darlene St. John is suing Jan Stewart for the return of her deposit for a Puradoodle puppy.
Now, you took a deposit to hold a puppy.
Yes.
So let's say you tried to breed your dog in February. February, March, that means sometime around the beginning of April, you would have had a litter.
That's true.
You didn't.
We did not.
Then if you tried to breed her again sometime.
I would
in
like to
April,
clarify that we have 2 moms.
Just a second. She picked one. You discussed with her, and she discussed with you, having a puppy from a particular dog, whose name is?
Song.
Song.
No, I guarantee a puppy. I never guarantee.
Breeders. I select the mother. I select the stud. I give a deposit. That usually, it sometimes takes up to 3 months. But no breeder says, I have many dogs, so you want to be on a wait list, you have to give me a deposit. And sometimes it can take 65 days, and sometimes it can take 365 days. In your case, it's closer now to 365 days.
For that mother.
So unless,
and I do want her to have a puppy from the mother she wants to have it from.
Well, that's, just a second, that's the one she selected. She selected Song. I assume you saw them on the internet?
Yes, ma'am.
And that was your arrangement. Now, how much of a deposit did she give to you?
She initially sent $200, and our deposits are $400. So then she sent, instead of sending another $200, she sent $300. So we received a deposit
But you just tell me,
of $500.
You received a $500
in 2 separate checks.
I don't care whether it was she sent it to you in wampum. You have $500 of her money. Is Song expecting?
Yes.
When?
She will be delivering in about a month.
I don't
so
believe
she's about
you.
halfway through.
I don't, unless you can prove that to me, then I'm telling you I don't believe you. Then you gave me the answer that you prove that to me.
I don't believe I can. I have pictures of her previous.
A vet statement, an x-ray showing that she is actually carrying a litter of puppies because she's got a $500 deposit with you. And so far she's been waiting 9 months. And that's an outrageous amount of time. Because you're not out any money. You're not out any money. You didn't promise these puppies to anybody else. As far as I know, you take deposits of $500 from people and hold their money and say, eventually you'll get a puppy. It could be this year, it could be next year, it could be 20 years from now. I take your deposit, you don't get a refund on your deposit, and we have February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, 10 months later. There's still no life in being, still no puppy in being. So you have to give her money back.
Well, I'm not going to do that. We have a no
you have
refund
to give
policy.
her. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. That's
told
what
her there are no refunds, and
well,
she
that's
will get
too
a
bad.
puppy.
I don't care what you told her. Then you're a scammer.
Absolutely not. Everyone is happy, and everyone always gets a puppy.
Then you are a scammer.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay, what happens if Song, who you've tried to breed now for 10 months, You tried to breed. What happens if she unfortunately can't become pregnant anymore? You telling me you keep the deposit and you're out of luck?
She will have a puppy.
That's not what I asked you. She chose Song. She chose a puppy from that litter. And right now, as far as I know, and you have no proof to the contrary, she's waited 10 months. And as far as I know, Song can't have any more puppies. Maybe she developed a blocked something that she can't have any more puppies, which suggests to me that if we follow your way of thinking, she gave me a deposit, it's non-refundable. I was hoping to give her a puppy. Unfortunately, Song couldn't have any puppies. So I have her money and she gets nothing. Well, that's ridiculous.
There was
it's
no
not good
guaranteed
business.
time frame.
It's not good business. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $500. We're done.
Excuse me, you may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Some get clever.
It's the story. I'm sticking to it.
Liar, liar, pants on fire.
Others get hostile.
I'm going to tell you what happened.
Judge Judy gets the last word.
They don't keep me here because I'm gorgeous. They keep me here because I'm smart.
There was no time frame discussed.
I kind of knew in May I was getting scammed.